If you've ever been ready to ring in the start of spring, as well as play the first golf round of the year and work on your birthday, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks. Welcome back. We are back here for another episode of Benzinga's PreMarket Playbook. We are starting off the week the right way. It is St. Patrick's Day. And you know what's funny about this is that when I woke up, it was pretty deep red, and it looks like the luck of the Irish might be bringing us green. But we're going to have some fun today. We're going to go through the news. We're going to talk about the snakes that have been driven out of Ireland. Oh my gosh, we've got so much stuff to go through. Benzinga's PreMarket Playbook for St. Patrick's Day, March 17th, 2025 starts right now. Good morning and welcome back, folks. And I hope that you all had a wonderful weekend. It is Monday, but it is going to be a good, fun Monday. I can feel it. I can feel it out there. It snowed. It snowed here in Chicago yesterday. And I don't mean just like a little bit. Like it actually looked like a blizzard. And some of that snow is still on the ground. It seems to be melting pretty quickly. Great to see a whole bunch of returning faces. Sun-kissed Yogi, good morning. Happy Monday. Welcome back. Paul, it's great to see you as always. Good morning and welcome back. Pete, checking in. Good morning. Happy Monday, man. Allsorts and Chuck, good morning. Couch Potato, good morning. Boy, that sounds like Couch Potato. Your handle is going to describe me this upcoming weekend with the tournament starting. Oh, man, I can't wait for Thursday. Always glass half full. Good morning, my man. Welcome back. Crimp Biscuit, good morning. Welcome back. Drew, good to see you as always. Locked in. That's what I like to see. Biggabees, good morning. Let's get it. Indeed. Sabin, my favorite character from Final Fantasy III. Welcome. Good morning. Happy Monday. Kevin, happy birthday, Ryan. Hope you have a wonderful birthday weekend. Good morning. Good morning, Kevin. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for all of the support that you give us here. It means a lot. My birthday weekend, I turn it into an event. So the fact that it is on a Monday means the entire weekend was my birthday weekend, and it has been spectacular so far. We're going to finish it today with some golf, I hope. Anyway. So it should be good. My weekend's been awesome. Hopefully yours was as well. Welcome back. Chuck in the street. Good morning. Welcome back. Joshua, QFin thoughts. Earnings come in today. Okay, so you're asking for thoughts on a stock and about your position, and you didn't even say good morning. That's okay. We'll check that in. Let me actually add QFin. It's not a stock that we normally look at. Let me add that to my note sheet here. So hopefully I don't forget about that before we open. Good morning and welcome, Joshua. 3D checking in. Happy birthday. Happy bye birthday. Not sure what that means, but happy birthday. Thank you, 3D. Good morning. Welcome back. Terlingua, good morning. I did have a great weekend. Producer, thank you. Day Trader, good morning. Thank you. Tom, good morning. Thank you. Bobby, good morning. Steve, Larry, Ralph, Bernhard, good morning. Torloff, what an awesome name. Torloff, good morning. Lou, good morning. Lou says, I hope the snow stays over there. New York City does not want it. LOL. Good morning. You got that right. It's springtime, baby. We don't need any more snow. Maybe it won't make it over to you. It actually did kind of feel like lake effect snow, but that's neither here nor there. Ed, good morning. Welcome back. Dermalog, good morning. Tom, good morning. Gringo, good morning. And James, good morning. Drew, happy birthday, Ryan. Thanks for being here every day. You got it. I love this. I'm straight up addicted to this. The folks at work, the folks that work behind the scenes here at Benzinga, they know I'm addicted to this, and then they exploit that, and I'm all for it, so no problem. Good morning. Tyler, good morning. JJ, good morning. Aristox, good morning. Really appreciate it. Michael, good morning. Keep calm and XRP. Bro, we need a shirt that says that. We need a shirt that says that. That's awesome. Shannon, good morning. It's great to see you again. Shannon, by the way, one of the first people to tell me that Landman was a great show. Started watching just a little bit of the first episode, and I was like, oh my God, this is really good. Got to finish that. Shannon, that was a really good call. Sebastian, good morning. Torloff. I love that name, Torloff. Good morning. All right, let's dive in. Let's start talking about the SPY or talking about the market here. Really, we kind of set up for an interesting day here today. Of course, we have really been selling off. We came down to that 10% pullback level. I got a lot of stats to show you about 10% pullback levels and how we're actually seemingly in a pretty good spot. I know it might not feel like that, but stay tuned. We'll take a look at that. We did bounce pretty clean right off that 10% pullback level. Gotta say, probably not a coincidence that happened. Just saying. That reflexive bounce was on Friday. Now today, when I first woke up here and I took a look at the market, futures were red across the board. I mean, triple digits in the red. Looked like we were going to have another sell-off here. Now, since then, market has really paired some of those losses. S&P futures down 0.35% right here. Dow futures down 0.5%. So Dow actually down a little bit more, down about 0.5% here, and NASDAQ down 0.2. Now that is rolling over here. So we'll see what happens when this opens, but it did look like it tried to go green. So the luck of the Irish, the leprechauns, St. Patrick himself, I don't know. They're trying to make the market go green. We'll see if we do get some green on the screen for St. Patrick's Day here. The other thing that I really want to keep an eye on, or one of the things that I'm looking to see how this materializes and everything, is what happens if we do continue to bounce here. What happens when we get to the 200-day? Now, I want you to kind of keep that in the back of your mind. That 200-day is at 572.68. I want you to keep that number in the back of your mind, maybe write it down or put it on a Post-it note on your monitor or something like that, because we're going to go over a bunch of different comments here about some of these pullbacks, where the market is and where the market could go from here. So I want you to keep in mind where that 200-day is, because when we trade back up here, we're not going to really stay around it for very long. Maybe a day if we are consolidating and trying to break it and unable to do so, maybe a day or two. But realistically, this is either going to signal a leg higher here where we might even re-challenge some of those all-time highs. That's one of the things I wanted to get your opinion about. Or that might actually set up for a wonderful short entry and continue the downside here of this move. I just want to also remind you, because we've talked about it so much, that the seasonality that we're currently in actually favors the bears. So traditionally, seasonality says that the period between the middle of February and near the end of March 24th through 26th-ish, represents one of the worst or weakest periods for the year, and that is magnified in years after a presidential election. Reason being, a lot of those presidents want to get some of the bad news out of the way early and let the rest of the administration kind of shape the public's opinion on that. So what's happening right now seems to fit into that schedule. So keep that in mind too. If we do bounce here and we do get back up to that 200-day, maybe that sets up for another short. We'll go ahead and take a look at all of that stuff. Quantum names, we're definitely going to take a look at that. We're definitely going to take a look at some of the quantum names. They do seem to be running, and it seems to be a continuation of last week's move. So those have not dissipated yet. Okay, let's talk about some. So my producer let me know that there was a breaking news story here this morning that snakes were running scared after hearing St. Patrick landed on the shores of Ireland during the pre-market session. This Wall Street analyst is bearish on snakes. So producer here, always getting a chuckle out of everybody. That's great to see. Bearish on snakes. Yeah, for sure. It is the year of the snake, as 13 has reminded us. So we'll see if St. Patrick can help us chase the volatility off the shores, if for nothing else than for today. Also, pro tip, he wasn't Irish. He was Welsh. So put that under your hat. All right, back to some more serious notes here. Let's talk about the market, and let's talk about some of this stuff and bring up the market. One of the news stories that we have for kind of where we're at here. Let me go ahead and throw that in the chat. U.S. stock futures fell again on Monday after Friday's rally as benchmark indices hovered around the correction zone. A couple of things going on here. Investors will focus on the FOMC's decision on interest rates, slated to be released Wednesday, as if we didn't have enough with St. Patrick's Day, the NCAA tournament. We We also have FOMC. We also have some earnings here this week. Actually, we'll just talk about this here. Real quick look at the economic events ahead this week. We do get retail sales this morning and retail inventories ex autos here today. So this is going to be the first pieces of data that we're going to get. The retail sales come in the pre-market before we open here. The retail inventories come after the open. Tomorrow, we get housing starts and building permits. So we should get a little bit more insight on the housing market. We talked a little bit with 13 last week about how some of those plays might kick up here. We're watching interest rates and all of that. We're also entering the season of the most amount of home buying, that April through summer season, April through July, I think, is the actual term. So a lot to keep an eye on there, and we'll see if any of those housing stocks actually give us a trade setup. Wednesday, we've got the FOMC, pump and pow, baby. Let's see what kind of mood he's in on Wednesday. And then Thursday, we have the initial jobless claims and the Philly Fed manufacturing index, and then also existing home sales. So we do actually have some economic reports. We'll see what that does for the market here. But anyway, the big one there is going to be the FOMC. February retail sales data will be released before the market opens. Trump's tariff negotiations continue as traders wait for the reciprocal tariffs that go into effect on April 2nd. That's going to be one of the big things here. This, to me, I think was the most notable quote from the entire thing. Meanwhile, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said Sunday that the Trump administration is working to prevent a financial crisis caused by years of excess government spending. Now, when I talk to people that are embedded in finance or embedded in Wall Street, this is not a controversial statement. But when I talk to people that are out of that, this is a controversial statement. There are a lot of people that think, hooey, this is baloney. We were never going to go to a financial crisis. Free money is great for everybody. There could never be a problem. I'm serious. That is an actual opinion out there. And it's a frightening one. Quote, I can guarantee that we would have had a crisis if spending had continued at unsustainable levels, end quote. I can't put a time frame on that, but I totally agree with that. Bessent said that on NBC's Meet the Press, quote, we are resetting and putting things on a sustainable path, end quote. Now, let's just take his words in a vacuum. There's two possible outcomes from this. He's either wrong and things are going to get ruined and the market has a long way to go down. Or two, he's right here. The market is going to reset and then it's going to start moving back up. And for us, for investors and traders, that is the exact situation that we want to find ourselves in. So what I would implore you folks to do is over the next several months, especially as we continue to move down, come up with a thesis here for some long-term wealth building type trades. I have been waiting for a market to sell off for what feels like a year and a half, and I have been straight up dead wrong about that. You can believe me that I am going to use pullbacks here in the market and also in the Bitcoin market to add to some positions for a further move higher. I wholeheartedly believe that. Let's talk about some stats that have to do with this. Okay, here we go. First one from Peter Maluk, and I do hope that I'm pronouncing his name correctly. I'm pretty sure that I am, but nonetheless, over the last 75 years, the average intra-year market drop has been about 14%. If you are overly stressed out about the current 10% drawdown, the stock market isn't for you. Damn, that's cold as ice. That's cold as ice. Downside volatility is the price investors pay for long-term outperformance. Now, I'm going to slightly alter his comment here a little bit. First of all, every one of you that shows up early in the morning here that asks questions about what's going on, trying to figure out what's going on, and trying to better your financial freedom, the stock market is absolutely for you. So let's just dispel that right off the top here. Now, the other important aspect of what he's talking about here is that this volatility, these drawdowns, while they feel not great in the moment, these are actually some of the best things for active market participants. We were actually having another discussion last week in Happy Hour that I made a note to cover here on this show. When we talk a lot about how the market moves down, everyone owns Apple, everyone owns NVIDIA, everyone's exposed to these mega cap tech stocks through 401ks, IRAs, the whole nine yards, any type of investment, especially if it's managed by professionals. And when they open up some of those statements after a down move, it's like, wow, what happened? That describes the wealth effect, both the positive and the negative wealth effect. When people open up these statements and they're like, wow, I have more money than I thought, they're likely to spend more money. The inverse is also true. When you open up these statements, you go, oh my God, my investments are getting destroyed. I should spend less. This wealth effect happens all of the time. Now, for those of us that are active, this is exactly what we want. We want to be able to add to that. And as far as like some of the 401ks and these long-term investments, you actually want to be working during this period. You want to be contributing more to that when the market is at the lows. So when the custodian or whoever's managing your account ends up buying those things, in the future, they are going to be higher. This chart here does a really good job of showing you that even in the face of really, really bad downturns, there is green grass on the other side. Sometimes you have to wait a little bit, but being patient is always the right move. And that is something that I want to stress here. He further reiterated that market pullbacks are common and a complete recovery is inevitable over time. Stay calm and stick with your long-term plan. So we already had one person here with a stay calm moniker, which I really, really appreciated. I've already forgot what she said, which is a little bit embarrassing, but it is what it is. So again, I kind of want to reiterate that, right? Let's stay calm. Keep calm in XRP. Keep calm and focus on your investments, especially long-term. Stock market pullbacks happen every year, and they have one thing in common, a complete recovery with the passage of time. Stay calm and stick to your long-term plan. This is one of the reasons why we talk so much about planning, so much about knowing what you're doing going into a trade, the whole 9 yards. Ryan Dietrich, our guy, Ryan Dietrich of Carson Research, also highlighted the historical data and underlined this was the fastest period of correction for the S&P 500 after scaling a fresh high on February 19th. It took the index 16 days to flip into correction territory. 16 days. That's crazy. This was one of the fastest corrections ever. Here are the times where the S&P 500 went from all-time highs to down 10% in a month, higher 3 and 6 months later. Every time doesn't sound like the worst news. Guys, I cannot stress it enough. One of the other things that we discussed here as a group, as well as discussing this with the happy hour group, is that, well, one of the reasons this is happening is because, remember, this all started, Trump came out and said, I want low rates, and I want Powell to give me low rates, and then kind of, nudging him. And then reporters asked Powell, well, what do you think about the president's comments? And Powell said the only acceptable thing, which was, we're independent. I don't give a damn what the president is saying. I'm going to keep doing my job. That was exactly what needed to happen. The next step was President Trump saying, okay, well, I'm going to give you the data that you're looking for. And so I am completely unsurprised to see us move that quickly from all-time highs into a correction territory, especially when the people up top think that, hey, we not only do we need a correction, but a correction is going to be healthy. Ryan Dietrich goes on here. Do you think this goes into a bear market? Since 1950, I found 12 other times that stocks corrected 10% from an all-time high and didn't go into a bear market. 6 and 12 months later, it was never lower. Never. Okay. According to the panic euphoria analysis model shared by Jay Capel, his senior market analyst at Sentiment. That's a cute play on words there. Sentiment trader, the S&P 500 decline was still not flashing a buy signal. However, from this point, investors could, quote, start looking for a buy signal at current levels. Boy, doesn't that sound familiar with what we've been talking about here? Hey, now that we've pulled back, let's see what the S&P 500 does. If it trades up to another level that was former support that's now resistance, hey, we might actually break that. We might actually kind of finish off this down move here by rolling over. Sounds like we're kind of prepared for this whole thing, if you ask me. Is this a buy signal? In my opinion, no. Gosh, that sounds familiar too, doesn't it? This is crazy. Is this a start looking for a buy signal? In my opinion, yes. Doesn't mean we'll get it. Doesn't mean it will come soon or that things can't get worse, as the first dot rarely marks the exact bottom. Only in 2018. Still, the numbers are what they are. So that is, I know that was a lot there, but the overarching concept that I want to talk about and kind of push forward here is that we should all try and remain calm. There's no reason to panic. Things it's not the end of the world. The world's not going to end. And frankly, the hand that we're being dealt can actually lead to some pretty extravagant profits, especially if we have a long-term view. So I want to encourage everyone to continue to have a long-term view, stay calm, and keep looking for quality stocks. Okay, let's keep talking here about the market. Veteran investor Ed Yardini isn't convinced that the worst is over. Okay, calling the rebound more of a scared cat bounce rather than a sign of a market bottom. Boy, isn't that kind of what we just got from the last stat that we took a look at? Boy, it sure seems familiar. Anyway, in an email sent Friday, Yardeni, president of Yardeni Research, highlighted two key developments that fueled the end of week rally. The first one here is likely that a government shutdown will be avoided. We kind of all thought that here as a group. I kind of wrote the entire government shutdown thing off. This is a common occurrence. Really doesn't matter which side is in there. It definitely seems to be the same. Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer said Thursday he would support a Republican-backed short-term funding bill removing the immediate threat for government operations. The second more surprising catalyst was that Trump was silent on tariffs. Now, I don't think we have Lion here today, but I'm pretty sure that Lion spent all of last week telling us, boy, the market would be in fine shape if Trump would just shut up and stop talking about tariffs. Well, Lion got his wish, it looks like. Here we are, red arrows across the board. The other thing about where the market actually sits right now, I know this is going to sound weird. This is encouraging. I definitely want to see green on St. Patrick's Day. I'm wearing green head to toe. It's my birthday. Yes, of course, I want to see green on St. Patrick's Day. But remember, every time that we've come in here and the market has had green arrows in the pre-market, ends up not being the greatest day. And on the inverse, when we have red in the pre-market, a lot of the times we bounce and we close green. Now, today, we are absolutely within shot of that. And earlier today, we actually already made an attempt at that. So I'm actually encouraged by some of the pre-market action. We'll see what happens when the market actually opens up, and we'll see what happens when some of the talking begins here. Anyway, let me keep going here real quick. I lost my spot there. Here we go. Okay. Yet he stopped short of forecasting a recession. Okay. So he stopped short of forecasting a recession, a growing concern among market watchers. Quote, "We continue to bet on the resilience of the economy," Yardeni said. He expects Trump will avoid policies that could trigger a downturn before the 2026 midterms, as a recession would threaten Republican control of Congress. So I want you to think about that. We talked about this last week as well, kind of floated the idea that there's what they consider a Trump put under the market. Basically, in English, what we mean is that the market is just really not going to continue to break down. There inevitably is going to be a point where they're going to say, okay, enough is enough. Everyone owns stocks, right, left, conservative, liberal. A lot of these people own stocks. Pretty much all of them do. And they're all going to be looking at this. So Ed here is saying, even if that's the case, and if you think Trump is just playing games and all he cares about is politics, well, then even so, this is pretty strong. This is a stronger signal there, because he's not going to let the market fall apart before the midterms. That's a shoo-in way to lose. And I don't think he's in the business of losing, and I don't really think he wants to lose. So to me, sure seems like all signs here are pointing to a move down and then an eventual pretty good bounce here. That's what I want our group to focus on. Now, I can't tell you exactly when that's going to happen or what level that's going to happen from, but we can put our heads together here and we can kind of figure that out. I don't want us to lose sight of this. I know early in my career, one of the big things that I really struggled with on days when the market was just really weak and there was a bunch of bad news and other traders that I knew were not doing well or made a bad trade because the market was just volatile, whatever the case is, it made me worried. And it took me a while to kind of just shake that off. And once you shake that off, you realize that a down move in asset prices is probably a good thing for you. I'm going to keep trying to focus on that. Okay, I'm going to keep trying to focus on that. MD here, real quick. Love this. Everyone that panic sold in March of 2020 missed a huge reversal. MD, this is spot on. Sorry, I think producer and I both tried to highlight it at the same time. This is spot on. And actually, our one and only 13. I know he's not here, but I'm going to say it anyway. 13, on one of the, I think it was literally the same day that the market bottomed. I think that was March 24th of 2020. You'll have to spot check me on that. But anyway, he nearly bottom ticked Microsoft, meaning that in the face of all of the COVID hysteria and all of that stuff, he said, you know what? I'm going to buy Microsoft here because I really don't think this is going away. And as MD mentioned here, he was present for that huge reversal. He didn't miss it. So this is a really, really good spot. And in fact, we have someone in our community that literally proves that. MD, really good stuff. Glad that you mentioned that. Tom says the sun is still going to rise. Captain Obvious says it's healthy to panic, but don't freak out. Captain Obvious, this rubs me like a troll comment. I'm not really sure what you mean. Maybe there's some more to that. But I'm just going to agree with you and say, don't freak out. How about that? Sean, thank you. Appreciate it. Hellcat, appreciate it. MD, appreciate it. Dante, appreciate it. Federico, I think that those emojis are positive, so I appreciate that. Okay, and then also don't want you folks to forget the April 2nd tariff deadline. I don't think any of you are going to forget that. That's pretty much the obvious thing here. Okay, and then Yardeni closed out here by saying, we thought the stock market would be choppy at the beginning of the year before heading back to record high territory later in the year. So it sounds to me like his entire thought here is that, yeah, market's going to sell off, and then it's going to go back up and probably even go to highs. That would be great for a potential buy here. So again, keep that in mind. Last story that I'm going to club you over the head with here regarding the overall market. Then we're going to start talking about Bitcoin and Apple and whatever else you folks want. I don't have any morning guest here. We've got 35 minutes until 9. We should have plenty of time to go over all of the stocks and all of the companies that you folks want to go over. I continue to see more happy birthdays come in. Chitan and John, I really appreciate you guys. Look, this is awesome. Waking up, I had a couple of my friends and a couple of family members wish me a happy birthday. And now to get a flood of them here, this is absolutely how we're going to start our day. You folks are making it better, and I appreciate that. Real quick here, this story, the largest dip buy in history. Bank of America sees, quote, a correction, not a bear market, end quote, amid a Wall Street rebound. Okay, what's going on here? Investors funneled cash into U.S. equities at the third highest pace in history last week. Wow. Bank of America strategist Michael Hartnett framing it as a correction, not a bear market. So that's where that quote comes from, Michael Hartnett of Bank of America. Hedge fund consultant Seth Golden, also of Bank of America Global Investment Strategy, said on Sunday, private client flows to equities reached approximately 2.5% of assets under management in March, marking the third largest weekly inflow into equities ever from Bank of America clients. Wow. Markets stop panicking when policymakers start panicking. Chief market strategist at Phenom Group noted on X, encouraging followers to follow the fund flows. Hasn't there been several of you folks in here that have said, watch money flow? You might even have like a money flow indicator on your charts. Seems like you were ahead of the curve there. Here's some more stats for that. There was one more thing in here that I think I wanted to mention here. Recent market volatility has been driven by recession concerns, with betting markets tracked the CFTC-regulated Kalshi, showing the probability of a 2025 U.S. recession climbing to 37%. The Atlanta Fed Reserve's GDP model now forecasts a 2.4% contraction in the first quarter, reversing a 2.3% expansion. So it looks like there's people on both sides of the aisle here. Political factors may influence economic outcomes. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick dismissed the Atlanta Fed's contradiction forecast as, quote, ridiculous. Meanwhile, analysts like Chris Zaccarelli of Northlight Asset Management questioned whether President Trump's administration policies will, quote, lead to a recession or higher growth rates, end quote. It was a great interview, the full interview. I wish I had the link here. The full interview with Howard Lutnick is fantastic. He basically lays out why they're doing a lot of this stuff. Okay, let's talk real quickly about Bitcoin. I do want to let me actually share the right tab here. Let's move over to crypto. I do want to talk about Bitcoin. Let me actually switch it from Solana to Bitcoin here. Oh no, I just clicked on, I saw it happening too. It's like when time slows down and you're like, no, you're doing the wrong thing. Here's the Bitcoin chart. So here's what we're looking at. Again, some of the key levels that we have talked about recently, these represent buy levels for me if the price gets down here. I love the current trend that we're in. I would love for it to really kind of come down and test one of these levels here. As you can see, we are pretty much right at, but still below that 200-day. Looks like we actually tried to take that out here. This candle, at least to my eye, along with the series of candles here, sure seems like we're going to roll over using the trend line as our guide down. I still have an open order to buy BTC at exactly 70,000. We'll see if I end up getting that here. Let's go back to the story real quick. Bitcoin whale takes a $332 million short position. Here's where he gets liquidated at. In a high-stakes gamble, a Bitcoin whale. And day trader, if you follow this and you know anything else about this, or you have any opinion or commentary that you'd like to add, please feel free to do so. I'm looking for anyone's opinion on this. I don't necessarily track this stuff, but I'm interested in these stories when I see them here, as I'm trying to expand my breadth of knowledge for cryptocurrency. Anyway, a Bitcoin whale has initiated a short position of 332 million, facing potential liquidation if Bitcoin prices surges to 85K. Yikes. So that's a pretty tight stop here. Bitcoin futures right now 83.5, and it's been poppy this morning. It's tried to pop higher here, and so far those have resulted in being sold back down. But we'll see if that holds here. By the way, actually it looks like February retail sales data is out. Rick Santelli is on the TV here. Got a great green tie, and I don't see the vein popping out of his head yet. Also a really good sign. Let me get you that data here. USA retail sales month over month for February, 0.2 versus the 0.6 estimate. So that seems to be contracting here a little bit. Core retail sales here month over month were in line. Retail control month over month for February plus 1% versus the 0.2% estimate. So there's your data here. S&P futures ticking up, it looks like, on the back of that data. S&P futures down now 0.2, but up off the lows and currently popping a little bit here. So there you go. First data print of the week out of the way. Let's go back really quickly to the Bitcoin story here. So he gets liquidated at 85K. A Bitcoin whale, boy, that was repeated like 3 times. Average entry price of 84,000 is revealed from data from Look On Chain. The position was leveraged 40 times, indicating the trader borrowed 40 times the initial capital. Boy, it better work for him or he's in big trouble here. At the time of the writing, Bitcoin was trading at 83.9. That's really, really close. A 2% decrease over the past week as per data from CoinGecko. If Bitcoin price hits the 85K mark, the trader's massive position could face liquidation. Here you go. Here's some more about that. So let me know. You guys think that this short is going to end up paying? You think this guy gets squeezed? Now that you know about that, what side are you on? What do you folks think about all of this? Day trader here. I don't have anything on that big short, Ryan. I've just been watching the tweets too. Okay, sweet. Really, really sweet. Really quick question here about Pro. Not normally what we do. You can always use our support department for this as well. Bajan saying, what is the difference between equity squawk and high beta squawk? Equity Squawk comes with Pro. High Beta Squawk is an add-on squawk. This is an audio news alert that's going to read breaking news to you. High Beta tries to save himself for the biggest movers, so you'll likely get a little bit less content on that, but you might get it a little bit faster. Really, the difference here is more news, more trades, more better is generally the trader's thought there. So there you go. If you guys have never used Squawk before, please, at minimum, start a trial for Benzinga Pro and try the Equity Squawk. If you do really well with it, there's an add-on that might actually help you. But try it. It's some of my favorite ways to trade. Okay, so we'll see which way Bitcoin goes from there. The sweet one says, anyone with that much leverage in such a volatile commodity is a gambler. I have a hard time disagreeing with this, honest to God. I'm someone here. I know Anne Marie. We talk on Anne Marie's show. She says definitely she tries to construct trades that don't use margin. When she does construct a trade that uses even a little bit of margin, she warns you about that. When I first started in this business, I talked to a lot of people that have spent years in the business. And one of the things that they told me, especially early on, is don't trade on margin. That's how you really get yourself hurt. That's how you really knock yourself out of the game. So I just never did it. And I think I'm still around to tell the story. I think that actually has a lot to do with that. So I'm with you here on leverage. Over leveraging can really, really hurt. That's never been something that I've done. That's never been a part of my trading plan. And I am happy for that. I do agree with you here. I think this is way too much. S&P futures popping here after that data point. Looks like we are trying to go green here. S&P futures down 0.07%. Looks like the NASDAQ did tick green. We've got green on the screen, folks. Luck of the Irish. Let's go. Let's go. Okay. It would not be a morning if we did not discuss this Apple story. I'll go through the story here real quick. Then we'll take a look at the chart. And I cannot wait to hear we've talked about Apple quite a bit on this show already. And I can't wait to do that even more after we go through this story. Let me have some matcha tea here. Okay. Apple is reportedly facing internal turmoil as struggles to fix major AI features in Siri, with a top executive calling the delays ugly and embarrassing after the company prematurely marketed features that weren't ready. So first of all, I agree with him. And I will say that one of the things that Apple has been tremendous at is not marketing features or hyping features that then fell flat. One of the reasons Apple is so successful is because they've given you features that you didn't yet know that you loved, and then you ended up loving them and couldn't live without them. That is a recipe for success. What they've done here with Apple Intelligence is not a recipe for success. One of the things that I've been asking this group here a number of times, hey, tell me, what are some of the secrets? What are some of the cool things that you figured out with Apple Intelligence? What have you tried that has ended up being cool? Prompts, different things that you can do with it, et cetera, et cetera. And no one has really given me a good answer. And it's not because you haven't tried. It's because maybe there isn't a good answer. It's just not that great. In fact, so one of the other things that I did for my birthday, I got a new Android phone. I got the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, and it comes with Gemini. And I got to be honest with you, I tried it really for the first time after getting it. It is pretty sweet. And I actually was asking it. I mean, it is so much. The whole point of this is that it is so much better than Apple. I've tried the AI tool on my MacBook, which I pretty much have in front of me all of the time, and it's underwhelming. It's just not that great. Meanwhile, I had a conversation about Gemini over the week, or I had a conversation with Gemini over the weekend. Lasted a good 4 or 5 minutes of me talking to a phone like it was a person. We were talking about volcanoes, by the way. It was actually really fascinating. And at the end of it, I thanked Gemini, and I stopped and I was like, you just thanked a computer. That's not like a real person. And to me, it was, as I was reflecting on it, it was just like, wow, this experience is so much better than Apple's. And now we're hearing people internally say how disappointing and bad it was. This can't possibly be good. During an all-hands meeting for Apple's Siri division, Senior Director Robbie Walker announced the frustration among employees over the repeated delays of key AI-powered Siri enhancements, reported Bloomberg, citing people familiar with the matter. Bloomberg is actually really good on these reports, especially when it comes to Apple. This was one of those situations where we get to show people our plan after it's done, Walker told staff, referring to Apple's demonstration of its AI features at the Worldwide Developer Conference. We showed people before. Walker admitted that Apple's marketing team made the situation worse by promoting the upcoming Siri features in commercials and branding campaigns, despite knowing that they were not ready for launch. Again, this is something not customary to Apple. Generally speaking, this doesn't happen. To me, this is kind of another parallel track that I'm looking at here. I know we talk a lot about Tim Cook not being a good innovator, innovation at Apple being quite poor under his tenure there, despite the continued record numbers from its existing products. So lot going into this. Initially expected in early 2024, the AI-powered Siri enhancements designed to improve personal assistant functionality, data integration, and app control have been repeatedly delayed due to performance issues. Apple now aims to roll out the improvements in iOS 19, but Walker warned that even this timeline is uncertain, citing competing priorities within Apple's software and hardware teams. Man, oh man. And of course, as we've been discussing here, no shortage of competitors, both stateside and also out of China. I mean, DeepSeek, you've seen what other American companies have said about the effects of DeepSeek here. Apple really needs to get rolling here. Let's see if there was anything else in here. Okay, so let's go back to the chart here real quick on Apple. Let me go ahead and reset this as per usual. Sorry about that. Boop. All right, let's take a look here at Apple. So deemed the safety trade, been one of the easier ones to hold. All of a sudden, really, really quickly, this thing really moved from 240 down to almost 200 flat, 200 and change here. Really, really fast move down. The 200-day really didn't provide much support, if any, for this. And it sure looks like Apple is trying to hunt out the 500-day moving average down here, 199. I tell you what, I would definitely be interested in a trade here on Apple. I do have a long-term position here that has now been split adjusted down to like $20. So moves like this really don't affect the long-term position at all. However, I think we are getting to a spot here where Apple can, you can really kind of swing this long. So just letting you folks know ahead of time what it is that I'm looking for here. I'm definitely looking for this 200 level. In an ideal world, we would take this 200 level out on a really ugly day, like a day here where the market is just getting pounded. Everyone thinks the world's going to end, this, that, and the other thing. Like if that is the day that Apple really trades under 200 and then under this 199. And by the way, if you look back here, this level right here, 198 to 200, significant, right? This was a humongous breakout level that we actually back tested and then ran from. So if we get down to this 200, 198 level and we overshoot this to the downside, I can tell you right now, even if I'm not on air, even if I'm sick, even whatever happens here, just know I will definitely be playing this to the long side. I'll probably use options in order to do that, but I will definitely be playing a swing long here on Apple. Another quick look here at some of the technicals that we pay attention to quite a bit on the show. RSI here down at 31. The only reason this isn't in oversold territory is because of the reflexive bounce that we had on Friday. Williams percent R, which is one of the recent indicators that Tim Melvin was talking to us about being very successful. That also showing minus 85 here, definitely in oversold territory. Now, I know we're bouncing here, and in the pre-market, it does look like the entire market here is trading up. Luck of the Irish, indeed. You guys can all, I was born on St. Patrick's Day. I'm Irish. I'm part Irish. This is all because of me. So you're welcome. If you that wanted green on the screen here today, you are welcome. S&P futures popping here. SPY going higher, Apple going along for the ride. Tesla also at the pre-market highs. Netflix looking like that's going to break out here. Let's take a quick look at NVIDIA as well. NVIDIA also near the highs here. So a lot of good stuff going on here. But again, as far as Apple goes here, I really want to see more of a pullback. If Ed Yardeni ends up being correct, guy's been around for a while, kind of knows his stuff. If he's correct and we get another down move here, that should take Apple into that price range that I'm looking for, and we should be able to swing long there. I'm definitely not going to chase where I find the green. So the fact that we're popping here today is great. I don't necessarily want to chase this. Certainly don't want to do this for the purpose of swing trading. We'll see what we get on the day trading front. Okay, we'll see what we get on the day trading front there. Okay, let's see. Where are we at here? We're at 843. The only other story here, let me just do this real quick because it really won't take a whole lot. It is something, you know what? I'm actually going to save this because I wanted to get 13s. It's about space, has to do with Tesla, SpaceX, maybe taking us to Mars. But I wanted to get 13s commentary on that. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to hold that. I'm going to hold that story until he gets here, and then we can talk about those. Now, one of the things that we can do here really quick, let me see. Let me catch up here real quick. Shamir is saying that the Apple ecosystem is better. I have both. And I will say there are pros and cons to both. I would imagine that the ecosystem, or as soon as it has like a really robust AI tool that touches the different tentacles or the different areas of the ecosystem, I do think that'll be like a net positive for it. But until that, I don't really know. And then the other thing that's kind of left out of that comment is that those that are familiar with the Windows ecosystem or have used it for a long time, they're not necessarily interested in changing. It's more for keeping those people on there. New Solana Seeker phones coming out in a few months. I bought my last iPhone. Solana Seeker phones. I'll have to take a look at that. I'm actually not familiar with that. Good morning. Yes, welcome. Perhaps Apple's resistance to getting into AI is now a hindrance rather than an advantage, as they've had in previous technologies. Yeah, I do kind of think that. I'm still unclear as to what the real value add's going to be for AI. Like I said, I mean, I was having a conversation with Gemini about volcanoes and the dates of volcanoes and stuff like that, and it was fun, but it really didn't move the needle on anything other than just a fun discussion that I was having over the course of the weekend. When you create better tools and people are able to push the envelope using these tools, that's where the real moneymaker is, Bigabees. And this is one of the reasons why I continue to follow what's going on with AI, applications for AI, and why I ask you folks what you're doing with AI. I remember when ChatGPT first came about, I asked the happy hour what they were doing with it. And I had a guy in there that said he was having AI write him a business plan and operating manuals for said business. Shortly after that, I never saw him again. And so I'm almost wondering if that business took off. Anyway, that's kind of as an aside here. Oh, what happened here? Let's get that. There we go. Yassine says, happy birthday. Thank you, Yassine. Really appreciate that. Tom wants to know how the quantum names are doing. You know what? Let's just go ahead and take a look at some of those quantum names. Ryan, you broke my heart when you said St. Patrick is Welsh. Look, man, we deal with facts around these parts. And I was told from a reputable source this morning that was the case. Try not to have a broken heart. We can go ahead and mend that. All right. It's that time, folks. Can I get a thumbs up if you're good? We are. 13's here. Good morning, 13. Happy Monday, my man. First of all, I got to say, I am absolutely thrilled that you are wearing green. I thought for sure, I was like, am I going to have to make fun of my co-host here if he doesn't wear green on St. Patrick's Day?
Lucky.
But I don't, because you aced it again. How you doing, my man? How was your weekend?
Oh, my weekend was great. Had a little bit of an early morning this morning, so I'm a little bit sleepy. Even though I'm down in the coffee, I might seek out a nap later. But other than that, doing pretty well. How about you?
I'm doing great, man. Woke up, got my first round of golf slated for today. The frost that is currently on the golf course is melting at an exponential rate. So I look like I'm going to be in good shape there. Also, 13, when I woke up this morning, we were looking at some red arrows here in the pre-market, and it looks like the luck of the Irish has brought us green, at least so far. We also had retail sales numbers that came in a little light today. Market looked like it moved higher on that number. So overall, I'm doing pretty good. We do have some quantum names that are moving around. What do you want to start with here? What do you want to look at first?
You know, the movers list is not robust today.
It was barren.
Yeah.
It was barren. There was nothing on there. It's just wild.
I only took a really good. Hello, how are you doing? I only took a really good look at one of them. The others, I just kind of was like, oh, okay, it's moving kind of on this and that. And then there are some other things that have just completely come right back in. So we could start with there, but I think we could go into some of these other interesting names, like the quantum names that are moving on momentum, and maybe some of the other ones that folks want to take a look at.
Okay, let's do the one that you had first, and then we'll roll through the list. What do you got for us? Well, I'll just start there. I'll flip over the movers list, and we'll just start there.
Yeah, that was NAOV, Nanovibronics, and this is a healthcare equipment company. They're moving because they published a study on their Euro Shield. I'm not sure if it's a device or it helps prevent urinary tract infections when using catheters. So they published this the study they did on it. Stocks moving. Notice that something that they also did recently that kind of went under the radar a little bit here, but they did put the news out, is that on Friday they did a 1-for-11 reverse split. So that's taking their float down to 791,000 shares.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like they do need cash, but I also saw that last month they had filed to sell shares of Series G convertible preferred stock, warrants. Didn't have time to really get into that whole filing that they did, so I don't know exactly when all that's supposed to happen, or if it did happen or not, whether or not. So that's kind of where I'm at with this one. As far as levels go, 4 right now, it looks to be the big level to get over. That seems to be a level going back, a while, ever since it's been down here. If we can get over 4 and start closing above that, because you can see in the pre-market right now, it's a pretty decisive level here. If it gets over 4 and starts trading over that, then it's pretty much just dollar amounts that I see the biggest levels of resistance. So from here, 5, and then after that, about 6. So I could try to see if there's going to be, seek out some levels in between those. But for now, it's just really, 4, 5, and 6 are the strongest levels I see to the upside.
Yeah, I think 450 is probably in there as well. But you're right. This 4 level, this is the next roadblock or hurdle to get over here. NAOV. Really good stuff on this one. I actually was taking a look at this earlier. Didn't even realize that it had that recent 1-for-11 reverse that really kind of thins it up. Be interesting to see how this trades here today. Also, quick look here: 3.07% of the float shorted with 1 day to cover. So really not a whole lot going on in there, short squeeze wise. And then you already mentioned the float. Okay. Actually, this just got posted here. That's the whim. That's what's going on here. So 80% production or 86% reduction in urinary tract infections and 70% fewer blockages. It absolutely seems like great news here. Plus 76% in the pre-market NAOV. It's all about the 4 level 13. We'll see what happens if that falls. Maybe we get something here on that. Okay, next one on the list here is going to be Acon. Remember, this was this was on data, if I'm not mistaken, just a massive move down, continued to leak here. Looks like it's bouncing now. They didn't see any new yet. No news on this. There was a shareholder update. We're up 33% here on some volume. I didn't go through the shareholder update. I would advise, if you're going to trade this for anything more than a scalp or anything off the technicals, I would advise that you go through that shareholder update. Again, sorry I didn't cover that one for you. I don't really trust this thing. So although this is coming up off of the bottom, the way that I would look at this is technicals only. I think this might still be in a lot of trouble here. 46% of the float shorted. That's of our recent update from March 11th. And I believe, let me see here again, that was after the huge move down. So it looks like there are quite a few folks out here not believing in this, not believing in this one. 600K market cap is too low, says Sweet One. I would agree. But that's why this thing's up 40% here. Be careful with this one.
Yeah, I was just going to say, this looks like it's trying to move over its VWAP. It just had a break above it. There's a bit of a trend line that you can, I don't know if you quite have it on your 5-minute chart, but it had a couple of occasions here where it spiked up once to 122, the second time to as high as 118. Trying to get, yeah, there you go. Perfect. So you got it right there. It's trying to break this trend line. Now, if we get above that, we're going to want to see, we probably even see a back test of this trend line after it tries to get over 122. But let's see here. If that ends up happening, you'll have to give me a second to see if I can get some levels here for you, because this thing has been hammered into oblivion. Yeah. That's a little far away. I was going to say $2 maybe, but like I said, that's a little far away. Let me see if there's one earlier here. Maybe 180. Hopefully it doesn't do 180 on us before it gets up there, but 180 is and the next interesting level I see. I'll have to come back to this one and see if I can find something.
You know
earlier,
what? Let's see what the opening print does. We might, with all of the quantum names that are moving, we might not even come back to this piece of junk. Right. As I had mentioned earlier, technicals only on this. Good stuff with the trend line. We'll see what happens. All right. Next here we have CISO, CISO. This is CISO Global. This looks like this is popping here. Was this on news? Nope. Everything looks stale here. Let me know if you guys found anything here. Quick look around the horn. 16.66% of the float shorted here. 1 day to cover. Stock here has a float of 9.6 million. You got anything on this one, CISO? I think we've traded this one before, but just basically off of a scanner print.
Yeah, let's see. I don't think I have any levels for this one. No, I don't. So if we did trade this one, I didn't mark anything off.
I believe, sorry to interrupt here, but I believe that we did trade this on Friday, February 18th. Looks like this had a nice little pre-market move and then just a complete and utter disappointment the rest of the day. So I would say just kind of factor that in here. I would be careful with that going forward here today.
Yeah, and this was also running on some of the tech sector movement when Trump was elected, but also they face some NASDAQ compliance challenges. So this could be, this could have a future headline where they regain NASDAQ compliance, or they do some kind of an offering or reverse split. I don't think they need to do a reverse split, actually. It make the float very small. Not that that it already is. It's like less than 10 million shares, but you can still do one. But anyway, not sure there's a whole lot here. We'll just have to see what this one does out of the open. It's losing VWAP right now.
Okay, good stuff there. CISO. Next one here is going to be ANTE. This is AirNet Technology. AirNet Technology shares are trading higher after the company announced the execution of a non-binding investment letter of intent with LLP STH Corp, a Kazakhstan company. Market is obviously rewarding this as this continues to pop to the highs.
Catch it if you can.
As we speak, catch it if you can here. 154 high print here. Don't chase this, but this is what's going on here. Real quick, I'm just going to take a quick look around. 0.5% of the float shorted with 1 day to cover, pretty much negligible in there. Float 3.4 million, right in the butter zone. And then we do have some news here. Well, not the letter of intent that we just talked about. So what do you make of this, 13? You think this is a trade here? That news about a Kazakhstan company got you excited?
I don't know what to make of this. This is something I didn't take a look at, but it's really got my attention for the moment. I don't know where this ends up going. It seems like this is also some kind of crypto mining company that's involved in that to some degree. I don't know much about this. Slow float, 7.4 million shares. Levels, let's see here. If this, this could actually go, it's over $1 now. Hold on a second. Looks like if we could get to 150 pretty easily. There's a lot of resistance up towards 185. We'll see what happens if it gets up there. But 290 is the print from August, the high print from August. So there's another level.
Okay, we'll see if we end up getting up there. All right, now I think this is what everyone's been waiting for. The quantum names, QUBT, they're back here again. First of all, QUBT, which is the first one on the list here, the one that's up the most, plus 19.2%. Keep in mind that this has earnings after the market on Thursday. So whatever trade that you have, if it's a shorter term one, make sure that you have it all wrapped up by this earnings, unless exposing yourself to that binary event as part of the trading plan. This stock, as you can see, really ran on Friday. We had a nice pop there, and then we actually had a move toward the highs. And in the after hours, we moved even more. So then we popped again here in the pre-market. Now, looking at this, we didn't have any fresh news here. All right, at least none that I can see. No fresh news here, but it does look like the quantum names are back in play. Don't we have the quantum conference? That's March 20th, right? So that's Wednesday?
The day of their earnings.
No, I believe their earnings is Thursday. Oh, no, it's Thursday. Excuse me. March 20th is Thursday. That is the day of their earnings. Now, that should be interesting. What do you make of that? Just right there off the top. Anything that we can glean from that, or are we just kind of guessing?
I've been hearing two different things. One thing that I've been hearing is that this Quantum Day event is going to reignite some of the big chip names like NVIDIA and Qualcomm and Broadcom and all those. It's also going to reignite AI software. That's what I've been hearing about how significant this event is. I've also been hearing that this could be a sell the news event. We're getting a lot of run up into this.
I was going to say we're getting an awful lot of run up into this.
So, in a market like this where it's been very volatile since the beginning of the year, I think we could see a lot of whipping around, but it may be a situation where we ultimately go higher. I don't know for sure if that happens or not. It would seem to me like we are going to probably get some profit takers in the lead up to the event or after the event's over. But I'm still positioning myself because I was underweight in tech for a little while. I'm still positioning myself to pick up some more of that and get ready for the next move in semiconductors and AI.
Okay. All right. Good stuff there. QUBT. That's not going to be it, though. QSI also on the list here. QSI had a nice move there on Friday. Stock still bought $1. This did pop in the after hours, held that pop into the pre-market here today. Same deal here, though. Don't see anything fresh. We did have some Form 4s happen here on Friday after hours. And actually, I think I took a look at these earlier here. Looks like these are stock, but I believe that these were grants. Right. So I'm not sure that these were buys on the open market. I think that they were grants. Nonetheless, here, QSI popping on some of that Form 4 after hours activity from Friday. Quick look around the horn here. 17.31% of the float shorted with 2.29 days to cover. And your float here, a big fat 102 million shares in the float. So 13, what do you think here? QSI, Quantum C. Life sciences company focused on development and commercialization of proteomics research tools. This was the one that I mixed up before for being part of the quantum theme, right? Or was that a different one?
I honestly
I'm pretty sure it was this one. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was this one. Anyway,
I honestly don't know. It could actually be mixed up with the quantum names because it is quantum in the in its company name. So. It's a little bit of a short squeeze. I would, also maybe throw that in there, even though the days to cover isn't, what we're looking for. But I have no idea why some of these names are moving, other than it's just the quantum momentum.
Okay. Really good stuff there. Sweet one saying, where would their earnings come from? Quantum Advantage is debatable, but it seems very far away from making money. Hey, that's like the big back and forth that we've been going through on all of these quantum names. How far away are we actually? I still seem to think that we're a ways away here. Okay, really good stuff there. QSI, did you have any levels that you wanted me to go over real fast?
Oh, that's something I should probably still do, isn't it?
It's okay. I mean, really quickly here, 180 seems to be one that we're clearly waiting for. I would imagine 150 would provide some good support if we do get down there. We'll see if that ends up materializing here. And then if we take a look at the daily chart, you can see what this stock is capable of doing, what it's done before. Last time this thing popped, it was a one-day wonder. Popped almost as high as 6, came right back in the same day. So just be careful.
It looks like it's still trying to recapture its VWAP. It is not having a great time doing that. But if it can manage to get over it, before the open, I think this may end up being, trying to run up to 180. Seems like 180 has, a lot of resistance. You can probably even pick it at earlier at 175. But somewhere between 175 and 180, there's been resistance since the after hours on Friday.
Okay. All right, good stuff there. What else do we have here on the list? HYPR looks like this is moving right now. This is popping while we were talking here. Hyperline shares trading higher after the company announced a collaboration with NVIDIA focused on AI-powered image reconstruction and embedding clinical decision support into MRI workflow. So just right here, I've done no research into this. This obviously wasn't moving before we started talking. This type of PR we've seen before. This can really get things moving. AI, medical imaging, NVIDIA relationship, the whole thing here. This actually looks like this could be a pretty good catalyst. I don't know how legit it is, but might move the stock around. 3.4% of the float shorted, 5.5 days to cover. Stock on average trades under 500,000 shares. We've already traded 2.6 million here today, about a 59 million share float. HYPR, fresh news here. 13, what do you make of this one?
Oh, let's see. Well, it had a pop recently, back last month. Don't exactly remember why. I don't think we traded that one. Went as high as 190. That's going to be a level to watch for. 190. It's making its way up there pretty quickly, even though it actually it actually went right up to 190, didn't it? Give me 1 second. 188.
Look, 188, real close there.
All right, so there's your first area of resistance. That February 6th high. So 190. After that, I don't have any other under the hood kind of things. I'm just going to go off technicals with this one.
Perfect.
And then let's see. After that, somewhere between 245 and 250 might be the next level after 188. I'm sorry, 190. Then 330.
Also, this company reports earnings after hours today.
Excellent.
So it'll be interesting to see what they say about this and how that actually affects things. I want to see how this trades here today. Okay, we took a look at QUBT, right? QBTS, another one that's on there. This, I'm not sure, unless you have levels, I'm not really sure there's anything that we necessarily need to cover here. This is just kind of moving on the same theme here. I guess we'll take a quick look around the horn. 35.89% of the float shorted here. That's actually increased. Come on now. That's actually increased from its recent print. Also, 1 day to cover here on D-Wave. 151 million shares in the float. This is one where the CEO has gone on CNBC. We've talked quite a bit about QBTS here. Actually, I think when we first started talking about this, it was about $5. So it looks like we're more than double here. You got anything on this one, 13? QBTS?
Is this making like new all-time highs in the pre-market?
Looks like it.
That's I guess the quantum run is back. Well, this thing is really
no. Yeah, yes, it is. Excuse me, it is. I have 1141 as the all-time high on this.
All right. Well,
and we are here at 1170 in the pre-market. So yes, you are correct.
So 1141, that's going to be one of your first levels, and then I think somewhere between 1020 and 1050 would be another area that looks interesting to me for support. So those are the downside levels that I'd be looking at. Now this thing is overbought on the daily chart, so I would expect there to be some coming in at some point. I don't know if we get it today, but soon. So, but other than that, don't have any. Oh, wait, you know what? There's some 2002 levels that are a little bit higher. These,
I don't have those. No,
I'm sorry, not 2002, 2022. They go as high as 1323.
Okay, well, there you go. I actually don't even have that in my broker. Maybe I didn't look on long enough of a chart there. No problem. But nonetheless, good stuff.
So yeah, I would be looking at that level as well because we're not too far away.
Okay, we can also look at Rigetti. I know this SOAR is popping here. Was there news on this? No, I don't really think there's a whole lot in here. LAES, I noticed a number of folks were mentioning LAES. We did have news. That was actually from last week. Yep, that was the 20 million investment. That was the continuation of last week. Let me go back here real quick. Oops, clicked on the wrong stock there. Here is LAES. It's popping here in the pre-market. One level to watch is going to be this 375-ish area. I've got it marked at 372, but really that entire area up there. We'll see if it ends up breaking that and going higher. Let's take a look at here at the daily chart. You can see really where we've come in from. I would imagine some of these other levels here are going to be important ones. $4 kind of stands out to me. And then I would put maybe $5.20 as the next one there. Good morning, Jim. It's great to see you. Jim, Crow, Beach Bum, Mark, Webcoin, Tyler, Zippity. Good morning. Great to see all of you. Thank you, Zippity.
Yeah, I like 520, and I like also like 450 too.
Wednesday, I didn't know this, but Wednesday, Jensen Huang is going to be on Mad Money with Jim Cramer after hours. He's going to be live from that GTC convention that they're at as well. So it's just understand that that's coming here real quick. Real quick, Palantir approaching 80 as well. Interesting. All right. So LAES, who is that? Izzy said, good morning, Izzy. Great to see you again. In LAES, last week since 220, a long-term hold, or excuse me, you said a long hold. You didn't say a long-term hold, but nice. Be sure to pay yourself on that. Cooler was on here, 13. I don't know if you wanted to touch on that.
I think this is a continuation from news that we already got last week.
There was nothing. Yeah, sorry. I guess I should have said that. There's nothing fresh here in terms of the news. Looks like it's just kind of.
There was a lot of momentum movement yesterday from the quantum names and some of the space. Like basically some of those names that were big runners toward the end of the year last year. They all kind of came back at once. So a little bit of momentum coming into this week with those.
Okay. All right. And then QFin, there was a chatter earlier that wanted to take a look at QFin. This is Qifu Technologies here. Trading higher after the company reported better than expected Q4 financial results. This actually popped on Friday. It's about $40 on Friday. Popped in the morning here. I'm not familiar with this company. I beg your pardon, but looks like EPS beat sales and EPS. Let me see what this company does. Sorry, all of this is in foreign currency, which I just don't know, nor do I follow. Qifu Technologies is a credit tech platform in China. It provides credit services for more accessible and personalized to consumers and SME through credit tech services to financial institutions, whereby it deploys its technology. Okay, so it looks like a fintech company here, this popping here on earnings. I did see that China was going to do, I did see some China news that they were going to help the consumer by stimulating something of that nature. Didn't really pay too much attention to it. QFin looks like it's popping here. You got anything on this one, 13? Have you ever looked at this?
I don't think I have.
Yeah, I was going to say this is not one that we've looked at here. 2.77% of the float shorted with 2.4 days to cover. Float here of 130 million. This reminds me a lot of Futu, but it's moving here on actually a pretty good catalyst. So I think if this moves with the rest of the Chinese tech, this one actually might be a decent one here today.
Yeah, I think that would be the thing to watch for here. It looks like it's trying to. I'm looking at a daily chart. It looks like it's trying to go higher than the 46.25 high print they recently put in earlier this year. As far as where this goes, looks like 46 is the level to break this morning. That's what it's looking like. It's trying to take out. So. But the volume's not great in this thing, so I don't know that it gets that breakout. To be honest,
whoever asked about this earlier, what do you think about it? What is? Do you follow it? What's the bull case here? Give us some context on it. Not one that we've traded here. Okay, I think that pretty much does it for all of the big movers that at least are popping here. I know CRVO. This is one that several folks were on last week. Looks like this is having another decent pre-market here as it's up about 9%. Let's take a look and see what it's.
Looks like they had earnings. Bigger miss on EPS than was estimated.
Yeah, sorry, I'm struggling to get some of the historical charts in here. Okay, so last week, this was some of the stuff that happened last week. Sorry, I couldn't remember. Chardon Capital upgraded this. Jones Trading upgraded this. Price targets that are a double from where we're at right now, and that's on the back of this 10% move higher post earnings. So CRVO does have some ratings above where we were at. These are fresh ratings. Also, it looks like earlier that week we had Roth MKM upgrade this with a $15 price target. D. Boral Capital did the same here. So multiple price targets higher than where we're at. Looks like we got some earnings that's driving this higher. That is CRVO, continuation from last week on this one.
Also have almost 17% of the float shorted with 12 days to cover. A float of 5.35 million shares.
Okay. Really good stuff. I think, 9:13 here. We can take a look at whatever you folks want. I think we've gone through everything that we really need. Is there anything else that you want to cover, 13? Or can we just start taking, maybe we should just start taking tickers from the chat here.
Yeah, we could do that.
Is he mentioning that there's news on Hood just now? Go ahead and take a look at that.
Prediction Markets Hub. Wonder what kind of product that is. Must be an AI product, maybe.
So your platform, you must be running faster than I am right here. Launches Prediction Market Hub. Yeah, I don't know. Not sure what this is here. Quote, we believe in the power of prediction. Oh, this is like Kalshi. Oh, okay. So we actually heard, what was it, like a couple of weeks ago, that they were looking into maybe partnering with Kalshi or Polymarket. Someone help me out on that. I remember this news was kind of kicking around, and now it looks like this is the next way that they're going here. Quote, we believe in the power of prediction markets and think that they play an important role at the intersection of news, economics, politics, sports, and culture. We're excited to offer our customers a new way to participate in prediction markets and look forward to doing so in compliance with existing regulators. Interesting. So I don't think they got anywhere with Kalshi or Polymarket, and it looks like they might be trying to cut their own or chart their own course. Here, the Prediction Markets Hub and corresponding contracts will be initially available across the U.S. through Kalshi. Okay, so they must have partnered with this. We've been in close contact with the CFTC over the past several weeks and look forward to continuing to work for them to promote innovation in the futures, derivative, and crypto markets. Robinhood clearly trying to become the trade it all, invest it all space here, whether it's crypto, betting on binary events, and or stocks. That's what I get from that. You got anything on that, 13?
No, I think you said it all. That makes more sense than what I could make out of it. Somebody was mentioning, let's see, that was the Crow was mentioning DXYZ, saying that the SpaceX at the space station. Yeah, picking up the stranded astronauts. Assuming that's what you're referring to. So there they are coming to the rescue. They were moving up on Friday as well, also moving up in the pre-market today.
Sorry, I'm trying to report something here. Trying to do too much again at the same time. All right. Hood needs sports betting. Dude.
Give it time.
I was going to say, I think that's probably on the way. Give it time. Sounds about right. Degenerates will stay in one place. You know, on kind of a larger note there, I'm not really sure how I feel about that. Me personally, as someone that does enjoy sports betting, by the way, shout out to the Michigan Wolverines men's basketball team who won me a bet yesterday, but that's neither here nor there. While I'm someone that does enjoy sports betting, I'm also somebody that has, in some cases, kind of a conservative investing approach. And I would not want to mix betting and investments. I don't think that that's accretive at all. The fact that my FanDuel account has play money that I don't really think about versus my investment account and trading account that has money that I absolutely do care about, the fact that those two are separate, I think is one of the reasons that's kind of kept me from really doing something stupid. So to me, this seems like not the greatest move. Not the smartest thing to do here, at least from the consumer's endpoint. For Robinhood, it's probably great, but for the consumer end, I don't know how great this is actually going to be. Go blue, Izzy. You got it. What else we got? SLXN has exciting news.
Well, it popped this morning, and then it came right back down to where it began. this could be another one that moves after the market opens. It's pretty far away from its VWAP, but it's not really moving right now. So I would probably wait until the market opens with this one.
I've seen so many people lose money on sports betting that I can't even touch it. I feel that. All right. So yeah, I don't know how great this news is, but this is not even the right. Oh my heavens to Betsy, guys. Oh my goodness. We got all, I'm sorry that my platform is totally screwed up here. 13, help me out, man.
All right. Well, I'm having some similar issues, like my charts aren't loading.
Yeah. Let me report this here.
No worries, though. I still got stuff shown at my broker. It is just trading view stuff. Everything else is working.
Okay. Thanks, guys. I just traded Hyper from 107 to 140. You're going to get the first register ring of the of St. Patrick's Day here of the new week. Way to go, Alexander. Way to go. All right. What else we got? What else do you folks want to take a look at? Nano Vibronics is still holding higher here.
NAOV.
Yep. I'm just looking to see if there's any news on any of these other movers that are going on. I don't see anything.
Yeah, still struggling with $4 NAOV. IWM, VTVT.
Team is on the charts here, so we look to get that resolved here really soon.
All the stars. IWM, let me see what that shows us. Pull this up in my broker. All right, so this is looking, IWM is looking like it's trying to move over 203. Had a spike almost an hour ago. I took it up to 203, and it's been consolidating, trying to get ready to break through that again. So 203 looks like a level in IWM.
Ryan looks rejuvenated on his birthday. Ryan is ready to get back on the golf course, 3D. That is for sure. And I'm really happy that the sun has now come out. So I appreciate that. Also, fresh shave. Really helpful there. Question here on why is Palantir moving? Don't see anything fresh here on Palantir. I think this is just probably continued momentum here. It looks like this really moved with the market this morning.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find some reason it's doing that. I mean, it did come down quite a bit, but not so much to where it was, too oversold. Seems like 75 was a support level for this one.
Okay, still. Thank you, Mike. Much appreciated. Still, I'm sorry I'm having so much trouble here with the charts. Let me actually see if let me see if I can get it.
I'll get you some SPY levels in just a moment, Stella. I'll have to look at one of my charts from Friday. Where is the SPY?
Here, I actually think you might have that here. Let me actually at least I can put that up here for a visual aid. Let me get here's the close from Friday, your chart that was closing from Friday. This has all of your SPY levels on it.
Yeah. So, beneath the price where it's at now, we have the 561, 559 levels, but we also have a previous all-time high at 562 and 39 cents that we're very close to. So I'd be looking at that area for support. If we continue to move up, though, there's a previous all-time high at 565 and 16 cents. that would be the next level up that I'd be watching for if we continue to rise.
Okay. And your 500-day here, 572.52, is that yellow line?
The yellow line, that's kind of that's the 200-day SMA. The 500 is not on here. That white line that you see is a different trend line.
Okay.
But, 503.88 is where the 500-day SMA is, and you can't really see it here.
Okay. All right, 6 minutes till we open here. Boy, I really hope that we get the charts fixed up here. Sorry about that. I'm trying to do too much again at once.
It's all good. We'll figure it out.
All right.
What do we want to look at in the meantime? Coffee installed. That's a great update. Anything you guys want to look at? I can use my brokerage to look at charts while we wait for the for TradingView to get back on.
I want to see if there's anything that's really kind of popping here ahead of the open. I know that we kind of moved up here on the SPY. Let's see. S&P futures are still about flat here, down about a tenth. Looks like it tried that 5,700 level. Bitcoin also, that's drifting lower from some of the pre-market highs.
Let's see, 245 is where we're at with Tesla. Where does that put us? All right. So we are still trying to recover from off of 220, looks like. Seems like it's trying to curl, though. Still need some confirmation that we're recovering, and not seeing that quite yet. Yeah, I gave the SPY levels.
Stella, pay attention. You want to give them again real quick? I know it's probably our fault because I didn't have any visual aid, but if you want to go ahead and give them again, I'll pull up your SPY chart here.
Beneath where the price is at right now, I have 562 and 39 cents. It's a previous all-time high. And then 561 and 559 beneath that. To the upside, I have a previous all-time high of 565 and 16 cents. There you go. Intel CEO buying stock, the new CEO. All right. Let's see our charts back.
Temporarily.
Looks like we have charts back. And I have app loving here on my screen. And that looks like nasty. That's a nasty daily chart. Might be recovering, but it doesn't look good to me. Maybe if it recaptures the 50-day SMA, it'll look better. All right. Let's look at Tesla now for some better levels. So trying to get a lift off the 500-day SMA, but still very close to it. That's really going to be the big level for me with Tesla. It needs to hold that 500-day SMA, and that is at 242 and 4 cents. Let's call it 242. Let's hold that level, shall we?
Okay, sounds good. Looks like things are working here, so hang on a sec.
It's a nice turnaround time there. Line Atlas saying, watch TD America. That's the TGD Trade Desk. I'm sorry, that's Trade Desk. TGD.
Now sorry for being so distracted here, but Lion's exactly right. We really should be watching this one. We've talked about this one just being insanely oversold and being ready for a bounce at some point. I don't know. I don't know if this really, I mean, I'm looking at this and I do think that this probably has some more room to go down, but I could totally see this being a reflexive bounce here. I mean, look at the selling is just incredible on TTD. Does anyone have any levels for this bouncing?
I mean, I just have a trend line that I'm watching, and that support would kick in down closer to 45 if it gets down there.
Let's see if we can get above 55 here today on TTD. Nice to see this up 1% here in the pre-market. We'll see if this trades with the rest of the market.
I completely agree that this one could bounce. It just, it's very, very low RSI, but it still looks like it has more room to go lower to me.
Okay. We'll see. We'll see on TTD. No position there. Okay. Well, we're under 2 minutes here till we get it. Let's go.
Good.
Let's go.
Open this market up already.
Yes. And by the way, so I definitely am excited. My birthday, market days for my birthday, I'm always excited for. Again, one of the best trades that I ever had came from a position that I bought on my birthday that later was just a massive, massive win. So always happy about that. Excited to get it going. Let's see where we go here today. And again, those futures still considerably up off their lows. Let's see if the luck of the Irish does bring us green here today.
We can't tell you where to buy, Frank, but I can give you some levels to where there's resistance and support. Let's see, we have less than 30 seconds. So firm, it looks like this needs to recap for the 200-day SMA still. It's trading beneath that right now. The 200-day SMA is at $47.19. Was getting support from that previously, but it looks like it's going to lose it. Now, if we start closing beneath that, I'd be looking at the 500-day SMA as the next area of support, and that's going to be at $34.21. So right now, to me, I don't like the way this chart looks. It looks like it could go lower, and we're open.
All right, we are open. Let's see what we got here. GLMD, first move here was higher out of the open. CISO, another one of those movers, looks like that fell away from the VWAP here right out of the open. QUBT, one of the quantum names, first move here is down, although it's holding in there on QUBT. INTC, Izzy, you were talking about the news right ahead of the open there. First move here, higher on Intel. 25, I think, is going to be your next test here. You had mentioned here, this is Reuters reported new Intel CEO Lip-Bu Tan plans to overhaul chip design and manufacturing business, plans to restart AI effort, produce chips at an annual cadence, plans to examine further cuts to reduce BIOA. So all of that pretty positive here. Wasn't there a stock? Wasn't he adding stock too? I would imagine a new CEO, he'd have some type of compensation package anyway.
LAES making new highs. Let's see how new these are. It went up to 385. That's the highest it's been since about almost a month ago. Seems a little muted out of the gate here with some of these.
Sure does. Now, the broader market is holding here at about unchanged. At least S&P futures here are right at about unchanged. Dow tried to push higher.
CISO is just dropping. Same with ANTE, QSI.
Tesla, big pull out of the gate here. Tesla ripping to the lows here. Big pull out of the gate on Tesla. TSLA.
If it keeps going down, it's got support levels at 232 and 226.
Norwegian Cruise Lines, this was higher here this morning. JP Morgan upgraded with a $30 price target. That's 10 points away from where we're at here. This is holding higher here by 4%. Ticker NCLH.
IWM pushing through 203. Was the level it needed to break through this morning. Now it's coming back under it. Looks like 203 and 7 cents was the high from Friday, and it went to 203 and 6 cents just now.
Okay.
Palantir really pulling.
So let me ask you really quick, and sorry for putting you on the spot. IWM here, this has been the index that is the most crushed. Do you think that this is going to lead the way to the upside? Or do you think we're kind of waiting for something else? I think that this actually might flash a buy signal more than some of these other indices. We'll see though.
For me, it's got some work to do on recapturing levels, and I don't like the fact that it's about to death cross.
Fair.
So for me, it seems like it's going to be a while before it sees the highs it was putting in November again. Now a while, I don't know exactly how long it could be. It could be months, or it could be a couple of years. but there's some levels that need to get recaptured before I can start getting a better idea of where this is going. And with the death cross imminent, I think that some of these upside moves are going to get sold into.
Also, one other thing to note here, we didn't cover this when we were talking about news earlier. Ticker ZIM, Z-I-M. This is actually higher today by 4.5%. It actually had a price target adjustment this morning that lowered it. This actually might have happened. I don't know if it was fresh this morning, but nonetheless had a recent price target move that lowered it. However, over the weekend, we did have some news about the Houthis and Trump, I guess, took out one of their leaders or something like that, and then issued a warning about attacking some of these ships here. ZIM has been affected by some of this news before. Looks like it's responding positively to that. Now up 5% here. So ZIM continuing to move higher.
Because the expectation is that this could increase rates.
Shipping rates, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Let me just pull up
Intel
here.
Sorry, while you're pulling that up here, Intel continuing its move higher here. Also seeing some calls being bought on the tail of this up to the highs. By the way, those calls here are short-dated calls. Those expire this week and next week. They are in size, but it looks like they're just kind of trading this move or trading along with this move here.
That's interesting. I'm getting a 404 from Drury. Let me see if I can find something else here.
Around here, seeing what else is going on. Tesla's still pounding lows. Tesla's still moving lower here. Netflix moving to the highs. Apple reversed its downdraft that it was showing right ahead of the open here. So Apple immediately bouncing. We'll see if Apple can go higher here.
Yeah, so shipping rates are very, very low right now. Lowest they've been for a while. So that could see a turnaround in there with how low they are. We'll see. So that's something that we have to keep an eye on. IWM is ripping right now, though.
Yeah, and it's funny too because I am seeing some of these smaller names. I'm starting to see some positive option flow for that. Archer, repeat call buys there. NVIDIA, Coin, PBR, QBTS. I guess that's part of the quantum theme. They're buying calls into this down move here.
What's NVIDIA doing today? It seems like it's could it be what's moving the SPY is kind of what I'm wondering because that's really moving right now.
Yeah, it sure is. SPY at the highs here, 565. By the way, market breadth green across the board here. Dow leading the way. After being negative here, Dow has really turned around. SPY, Dow, Qs, Russell, and Nice all green on the breadth there. Alexander, 100% on IWM. That sounds like options. Really good stuff. Right. Kevin mentioning Fubo here. Fubo moving out of the gate. Did we have news to associate with this? No. So it looks like this is just kind of some trading action here on Fubo. QBTS, that's D-Wave, right? Yep.
Yeah. Palantir.
That is starting to bounce. Palantir. Let me bring Palantir up here real quick.
Yeah, I just did a complete 180, turning up coming back up right now. Let's see, Soar. It's an appropriate name. That's really soaring right now, trying to hit the pre-market high of 236.
Actually, this might be pretty good. That might go to 250 too on Soar. I don't know long term. I'm just saying short term. This actually, if we can take that out, this might pop and go higher here. And watch this here on Soar. Anyway, don't want to chase the green move here, but this actually feels like it might have a little bit more.
Some of the space names are doing pretty well this morning. We have Cooler that we already know about. RGW, Redwire, is doing well. It's up 6.64%. Rocket Lab getting a little lift out of the gate here, up almost 4%. And Virgin Galactic, interestingly, is up almost 8%.
So I wanted to ask you earlier, there was what do you think about Elon Musk predicting a human landing on Mars by 2029? You got any thoughts on that entire thing? I wanted to save that for you here just to kind of get your opinion. By the way, SOAR pulled back. Watch if this can hold the VWAP. That actually might give better entry. SOAR.
Yeah. So a human landing is entirely possible, but whether or not that human lives or survives on Mars is a whole entirely different question. Making Mars habitable for humans is a very long ways out and requires technology that I don't think we really have quite yet. So maybe AI can help us there, but I think we're very long way from seeing humans colonize Mars.
Okay, so it's safe to say that you think that might be a little ambitious here. Look, Musk has has no shortage of ambitious predictions that just haven't come true. So this wouldn't be a new thing for us, frankly. I don't want to. I'll just say this: I don't want to be the first person to go to Mars.
In 4 years, if he sends somebody to, if he accomplishes that feat of sending somebody to Mars in 4 years, that person probably won't survive.
Yeah.
That's what I'll leave it at that.
Thinking about it, very succinct. Musk and his timelines, LOL. Fairchild, I think that this is totally fair. Child. Sorry. Right now, Mars is the last thing we care about. I got other more important priorities on my punch list than Mars. I'm with you on that one, Fairchild, no question. Okay, SOAR does seem to be settling here at its VWAP. Can we hold here? Can we get a nice little pop? I got the VWAP at 2 in my broker. I've got it at 198 right here.
That movement is just insane, though. So crazy.
We will use AI quantum to teleport and forget about rockets. Let me tell you something. That would be bullish. That would be bullish. So we're here. So that's interesting. I was actually trying to trade this here. Didn't get it yet. Let's see if I get filled at 2. Stop at 195. Filled. Watch me get stopped out right away here. Come on, bounce, baby, bounce.
Let's see here. Well, it's holding its VWAP, so it's trying to hold its VWAP, I should say.
It's trying. Like I said, I'll put this back on the watch list if I just get stopped out of it right here. But I want to see. We're coming back into the VWAP. Let's see if it holds. Let's push higher, see if we can get it. Maybe if we don't even take out that high. I've got that at what? 236 was the pre-market high. 234 was the intraday high. We'll see.
234 is also the 20-day SMA. Went right to it. Well, hi.
That's just a video that someone put on. Thank you. Oh my God. Producer, just fix it. Okay. We got that solved. We got
Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody.
Are we having fun yet? Are we having fun yet? Okay. Let's see here. I'll keep you posted there on SOAR.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for some of these things. Well, Palantir really did turn around, recaptured VWAP, and it's trying to make its way back to the pre-market highs. Pre-market high is 89.47. Just less than 20 cents away there now.
And stopped out of SOAR 0 for 1 on this St. Patrick's Day. We'll see if that sets up again, though. We'll see where that pulls back to. Probably just shook me. I'm not in it anymore, Izzy. It was SOAR, and I was stopped out. CRVO, you guys are mentioning here. I'm still kind of watching SOAR. Look, it just basically just flushed my stop. That's the problem with tight stops. It is what it is, though. I probably shouldn't even be trading this junky little stuff.
SPY ran right through that 565 and 16 cent previous all-time high, but there's another previous all-time high just above it at 566 and 58 cents that it has not reached yet. Might trade between these two for a bit.
You guys are mentioning that the Qs are blasting off. The entire market is moving higher here. So we are seeing this pretty much across the board. SPY, Dow, the NASDAQ, the Qs, all of this moving higher here right out of the open. My gosh, even ONDS moving higher. Goldman Sachs moving higher. Netflix is ripping to the highs.
Need a little bit of a relief. We're starting to get it. The real question is, does this go up and get over the 200-day SMA?
And that to me is, so how are you looking at that? Because one of the things that I'm kind of setting up for here on that is maybe open up another short.
Oh yeah, I've been waiting for the price to get back up there and it's taken a little bit longer than I was anticipating, but it's still making similar moves and what I was looking for. But once it gets up to the 200-day SMA, if it can't recapture that, then after testing it for like, let's say 3 days, I'd say it comes back down. That's just the way I look at it. I think that's going to be a resistance area, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Okay. 7 more points, 572. I want to try. I mean, I'll try with puts up there. We'll see. We'll see. SOAR, by the way, is trying to bounce here. We'll see if I ended up just getting stopped out of that one, unfortunately. CRVO. This actually looks like this might try that 850 spot again. Don't feel great chasing it up here. Would rather this come back into VWAP a little bit.
Thinking about doing some more of the ETFs again.
Yeah, I won't be around today enough to do that, so I'm not sure if we're going to get. Well, you know what? Maybe we will get 2 extended right out here out of the open. We're ripping.
Mm-hmm.
So here you go on SQQQ.
Might turn around.
Yeah. So this one looks like we got what, about 40 cents. Looks like this went to this went to 35 and change. So we were about 50 cents extended from the VWAP here on SQQQ. I'd like it to get a little bit more than that, but maybe that's just me being picky. But like I said, I probably will be in and out today, so I don't know how many of these I'm going to actually be trading today. This is still something I'm going to keep on deck, though. By the way, SPY continuing to push to the highs here.
Yep, TQQQ doing pretty well, but it looks like it's kind of running out of steam here on this these impulse moves up out of the gate. Might see some weakness and then gets ready to go again. So now that we're above that 565 and 16 cent previous all-time high, we're going to want to see that hold. And if it doesn't, then we're going down to probably down underneath 564.
AAOI is actually trying to bounce here. Remember, this faded off of that Amazon warrant news that we got last week. Totally faded there on Friday. Actually looks like it's trying to bounce here. That would be an interesting one to put on the back burner. No position on that. Nike here ripping. The reason that this is interesting is because we've actually already had a couple of really successful trades off the 70-71 area here on Nike, and this stock has come right back in there and is doing its best to hold this here. This is actually a 2-point bounce right off that area so far. I'm not in it this time around, but this still pretty interesting here. Nike doing well.
Looks like NAOV is not having a great time at all. This continues to go lower. Looks like it's on the verge of losing 305.
NAOV.
Mm-hmm.
Here, I'm going to leave this on the screen for you real quick. Be right back. And we'll talk about EIX. Just give me 1 sec.
Sure.
BRB.
And we also have ACON that went right up to that, almost hit that same trend line that we drew earlier. Massive rejection right through VWAP and beneath the 65 EMA on the 5-minute. That's looking ugly. ANTE, this thing also dumped out of the open. It's looking like it's trying to recover, but still needs some more time and volume. What else we got? Palantir. This one looks like the rebound is trying to gear up to make another move north. Needs to recapture 88.50. What else are we looking at, folks? Nike reports on Thursday. Yes, they do. Grabiskin saying GLMD. Let's take a look at that. What is this one about? Galmed Pharmaceutical. I see that hasn't moved today. Is there news? Circuit breaker to the upside. I don't see any news, just that it's been halted. Is there something that happened over the, was this their 10K? Seems like they filed, after the bell.
Okay.
I'm just taking a look at GLMD.
Okay.
Looks like they filed after hours on Friday. I'd have to go through this to see if this is what's causing the move, but it's the only thing I really see. that could be doing it.
Moving on volume here. Yeah, I didn't see anything in there. GLMD. This is the biggest mover of the day now.
Mag 7 week. Let's see here. What does that look like? Netflix. Well, yeah, they're doing okay. They're the only one that's up. Even though I don't think they're considered part of the.
They're not.
Mag
I
7.
was wondering that too. Netflix is not a Mag 7 spec.
I kind of have some that should be in Mag 7s, and Netflix is one of them. And I also have Berkshire and Broadcom up there as well, but they're not part of the Mag 7. Still like to watch them though, how they are trading in relation to the Mag 7, which are, by the way, all down except for Microsoft. Microsoft just barely hanging in there, but nearly flat on the day. Tesla with the biggest loss today, down 3.3%. Yep. Affirm crushed.
Coinbase really kind of came back in after that initial. I'm wondering if other tech names are going to do the same thing here. Apple's done the same thing. Netflix has started to do the same thing. Goldman Sachs is doing that now.
So, oh gosh, yeah, Affirm is. We were just talking about this one earlier in pre-market. How this would losing the 200-day SMA was not good. Well, the news helped it along south, didn't it? So, 34.21. That's where the 500-day SMA is. That's one potential level it could run to. We also have support coming in at $40.63. And 37.31 cents. These are just basically levels that it found support on the way up.
This piece of news here on Affirm is interesting. Affirm shares are trading lower after Klarna partnered with OnePay to exclusively offer installment loans at Walmart in the U.S. Klarna is going to be IPOing pretty soon, isn't it? KLNA, I think is the ticker. We saw that. We got that news last week.
That was a nice move for the SQQQ, but now it looks like the market's trying to turn around again. Could see a lot of this today, a lot of back and forth.
Yep. I'm trying to find you that Klarna news there. Klarna IPO news. See if there's any other stats on the IPO. Klarna has filed its initial IPO. Ticker KLAR. It's aiming to raise $1 billion, targeted with a $15 billion valuation. No news on when we might see that, though. Let me know if you folks have heard anything about that. I'd be interested in that IPO just to see how it does. KLAR. It's going to be the ticker. Interesting. Anyway.
So, yeah, as you're saying, Walmart dropped Affirm. Did we want to look at EIX?
Yeah, so there was I saw some news on this. Let's see. Okay, interesting. EIX has really come back. This was weaker here in the pre-market and has now gone higher by about 2%. So what's going on here? Really interesting story. Decommissioned power line could have caused the Eaton fire. Now, a couple of things to keep in mind here. Number one, there were several fires that broke out, and some of them have different reasons for breaking out. The law enforcement has actually caught several arsonists who started some of that. But what this is going on to show is that, or what this article mentions, I read this morning. What this article mentions is a phenomenon called induction. And basically what they were saying is that power lines that are not in use, but are still next to existing power lines that are in use, as current is traveling down the line, you get an electromagnetic field that causes the power to move in the line that has been decommissioned. And the thought here is that one of those lines actually ended up starting the fire. If that proves to be true, I got to think that this is a net negative for EIX.
Yeah, I don't know how much of California's going to be able to help them out with that, because they do have some protections, for things that are similar to this. I just don't know, where the liability for Edison ends and where California can start picking it up. That's something I'd have to take a look at. But you could be right. They could face billions in liability.
So, well, I think we're going to get, this is definitely something to watch. Now, I have no position on this. I did try to trade this for a bounce. I was a little bit too early. I ended up not working. So I have no position in this, but this is something that I think we're going to hear some more about. And given how this thing has moved pretty much from 80 down to like near 50, I think that there could be another trade in this depending on what comes out of that. So just keep it on the back burner, but that's what's going on here with EIX.
Yeah, $59.70 is a pretty interesting looking area. So I kind of pegged that as an area having resistance. We'll see. That's kind of what I'm looking at, just based on the price action on the way down and how it was trying to recover. That seemed to be an area the price was really having a time with.
Okay. All right, let me look back inside here and see what's going on. Let's check it on SOAR. Am I upset? Boy, this is basically I basically just picked a really crappy one to trade. This is still holding that area. Tell you what, though, I'll keep checking on this because as long as this doesn't break down, maybe this will set up to move higher in the afternoon. We'll see if I'm even around for that. QFIN looks like this post that earnings report. It's back to VWAP here, but it's holding. What ticker were you looking at?
Cooler. That just had it dropped out of the gate, but it's since recaptured VWAP and has pushed up to the pre-market high. The pre-market high was 169. Trying to move over that now. It certainly did, thinking about it. So
what happened?
He was saying that the buy now, pay later went from a firm to a flabby.
Mesruer saying, happy birthday, Ryan. You sound very refreshing and enthusiastic today. I am. I had a great weekend. And I'm looking forward to having another great day here today. And I get to hang out with you folks. So yeah, I'm in a great mood. Good mood. And the sun is shining.
Another stock that if you're looking to take advantage of the buy now, pay later, which I think is kind of weakening right now, is PayPal. Seems like $70 is a very important level for them to recapture. Ever since they lost that level earlier this month, they have not been able to recapture it, despite multiple prints above 70. Just haven't been able to get back above there. So look for a recapture and hold of 70. That could mean some more upside. But if it loses the 500, I think it's going to go even lower.
This is one of the stocks that I have on my list. If the market really gets blasted and we have one of those capitulation events to the downside, this is one of my stocks that I'm looking to add. I don't think PayPal's going anywhere. I think that this would actually be a pretty good buy. And so I'm looking to add something like this on weakness. Now, the point that you were just making about it losing its 500-day, I can be patient. I'm not in a hurry to do this 13, but this would definitely, we talk a lot about what stocks are on your list if we really get hit here. This is one of them. PayPal, ticker PYPL.
Is he saying Birchtech Robotics is really blasting now?
That's what I was trying to look at there. That's RR. This looks like this is trying to take out 2 here today.
Yeah, looks like a couple of visits up to that 195 area twice already. I think you're right, it wants to.
Real quick here, Sweet One saying, can I ask you to what you're doing with your year-to-date percentage gain or loss? I don't think I know what you mean. One of the things that I am doing is that on some of these shorter term trades that I make money on, if I'm not just holding cash, like if I'm looking to redeploy that, I'm basically just buying dividend stock names. My favorite is STWD. I've mentioned here a number of times. I still think that the market is inevitably going to move down again. And if we do that, I kind of want to be in income names that are going to be less likely to respond to some of this volatility. So I've been doing that. I will say it would have been a really good start to the year if I had actually taken gains or more gains on ONDS. I didn't, so I ended up giving a lot of those back. But I don't know if that's the question that you're asking. Let me know if that answers your question. KKR, this was one that Tim Melvin mentioned last week. That's higher here today. Seeing a lot of calls getting bought now. Hood on that list, Baba on that list, some of the quantum names on that list, Tesla on that list. Tesla's actually had a pretty good bounce off the lows.
SOAR trying to get above the VWAP again. Looks like cooler popped up to 171. It's reversing.
I won't be faked out by this. I do think that this could actually provide a trade, but I don't want to. I don't want to try the same thing. I don't want to get faked out on the same type of thing.
Yeah, I haven't really done anything today, and it just
I'm 0 for 1. I'm 0 for 1. I got stopped out of SOAR for a 5-cent loss.
It's just there's been some opportunities. I just haven't been in them or really wanted to try to scalp them. There's a lot of selling out of the gate too. I'm probably just going to go back to the ETFs for today because we didn't have a really good list of movers to begin with, and most of them were all just the quantum names anyway.
Yeah, those were the best movers. I feel like were the quantum names.
Yeah, I think we'll get some better opportunities later because the volume just isn't really that great right now, unless you're in some of these value names or the quantum names.
VIX, by the way, continuing to melt here. VIX down into a 20 handle. Remember, VIX peaked at 29 when we were really selling off. Now we're looking at 2098 currently on the VIX.
Do I believe Tesla is still going to pull? It's all about the 500 at this point. It's got to hold that, and that's at 242. So if we close today under 242 and we do that, for a couple more days, then I think we're going to be, testing some of these lows we put in earlier this year.
I love this. Thinking about it, giving us some ideas here for dividend stocks. So thinking about it's a great dividends ticker GNK here. It's Genko Shipping. Let's see, what do we got in terms of a yield here? 8%. You're right about that. Pretty good dividend here. Ticker GNK, ticker DKL. This is another one. Well, this one I'm not familiar with. 11.5%. Really good stuff there. And then, of course, PSEC. PSEC I also own, thinking about it. I've actually added to this a couple of times. This pays a monthly dividend of 12.8%. PSEC. Good stuff there, thinking about it. Definitely happy with some of those dividend names. I think that's a really smart place to park some money.
Yeah, I've heard $200 is a good buy area for Tesla as well. It may have been you that I heard that from, but I thought I heard it from somebody else as well. I think we could end up going down there if we continue to close underneath the 500-day SMA. So far we're trading back above it. We'll see what happens. It's got to hold. And this market just likes to kind of whip around. Look at the TQQQ. There's you wouldn't be in this very long with the way this has been trading today.
Well, so let's talk about that. So again, this right here, one of the reasons why I really want to try and be as patient as possible and wait for that extreme extension from the VWAP to avoid stuff just like this, because you're right. You wouldn't be in this for very long, or you might be buying and selling for just pennies on that. Yeah. Instead, I want to try and do less trading, right? Less is more at this point. Do less tickets written, but with bigger gains on that. And the way that it has seemed to have worked for me is just wait till this really gets extended from the VWAP. Haven't seen it yet today.
And we also have the FOMC meeting coming up. Well, actually, that starts tomorrow, and then they have their rate decision on Wednesday. And then we move into the quantum day. Several different things happening at once there, or one after the other. Pfizer is a great dividend stock, has never moved. It moved during the pandemic, but since then it's been just pretty quiet. It's kind of suddenly slipped down.
China stocks, crocodile dumb me. China stocks doing well here today, indeed. And in fact, look at BABA. This is actually testing a break higher here. This has 150, 160 written all over it. God, I almost think we might be on a potential gap fill up to 160 on BABA. What do the calls look like? Give me a sec here.
Let's see, BABA daily chart. Well, you have that trend line there that it's still messing around with.
Man, those 160 BABA calls in May, 665 ask. God, if it closed that gap, those would probably be a double too. I don't know if I want to take that though. Certainly don't want to chase the move higher here. BABA up 3.5%.
Yeah, there's a gap that it's coming up to. The gap is from November of 2021.
That's the one I'm talking about.
Okay. So up to what, about 162 it goes. Now, you don't have the trend line there on your?
No, let me see. I might, on my bigger daily chart here, I might actually have that 13. Give me a sec to pull it up here. I was just doing that in the trading window here. Is this the trend line?
That's the trend line.
I thought so. We also have a fib on this one too. Gosh, and that fib, I'll tell you what, that fib level's there at 153. Oh man, it would be beautiful if all of those things lined up. No dice yet.
Yeah, kind of curious to see what we get out of this this move up here today. Do we trade up and try to break over this trend line, or does it get rejected again?
I almost wonder if you break through that trend line, fill the gap, and then roll over after that. That's too much predicting there.
We got some housing data and inventories.
Here you go. Business inventories month over month for January, 0.3 versus the 310 estimate. The prior read was -0.2. So decent read there. U.S. retail inventories ex auto for January, 0.5 versus the 410 estimate. Prior read was -0.1.
Thanks, Izzy, for flagging that.
ENTX Guess shares are trading higher after the company announced it received a non-binding proposal from WHP Global to acquire the company for $13 per share. Interesting. So stock is currently at $12.35 here. That's ticker GES, by the way, company Guess. So by the way, folks, this is one of the reasons why I set up a news feed that filters for only whims. This stock has already moved, but we've got a lot of stuff going on here. Very, very easy for me to figure out what's going on. So GES, possible merger here, non-binding proposal to acquire the company.
That squeezed so many shorts on that news.
It sure did.
Just absolutely insane amount of short squeezing. It's had almost 26% of the float shorted with 6.7 days to cover. And that news just absolutely sent it. In almost the entire move in one candle.
And this isn't finalized. You might even get maybe another offer. I don't know. I don't want to speculate, but not pretty good stuff here. A pretty good move here on Guess. And you're right there about the short interest. I think that definitely played into it.
Hey, Robert, how you doing? Crow is also saying that DXYZ is going. That's the pretty much the only way you can trade SpaceX on the market here. Otherwise, you have to buy the shares through Barron's. It is moving up.
Our didn't go to 2 yet. We'll see if it's got the strength to do that. MGRM, this has been strong. This is actually taking its next leg higher. SOAR is trying to make me feel crappy. This is trying to go higher here, but again, don't want to chase it.
Intel really having a great day.
Intel high of the days here, says Izzy. That was a pretty good piece of news earlier. This did a nice little rip higher here on that second move.
A nice break over the 200-day SMA. I mean, this thing is really broadening. Where does it go next? Maybe this is the run that we get that finally fills the gap that it put in from
To 30?
August. Well, the gap fills just under 29. So I mean, could run to 29. Yeah, having a pretty good one. Thanks, Robert.
Yeah, it's
Cool.
been all right here. Soar, I was a little early. That is trying to go. I thought so. We'll see if it gets up to that 230, 240 area. 235-ish.
CR.
Damn.
Well, I was getting CR CrowdStrike. CR. It's going.
CRVO, more expanding volume, more new highs here. CRVO.
You're wondering if this goes back to 400. I can see it trying to get back up there. The big thing for me is getting over the 50-day SMA. We did consolidate in that area until earlier this month we lost the 50 and went down beneath the 200 briefly. I would have to say that for me it's going to need to recapture that 50-day SMA, and it's certainly trying to get up there, but that's it's still like $20 away. Now, looking for 400, if we do get above the 50-day SMA, we could see 400 as resistance. Absolutely, that's been a pretty strong resistance level going back to looks like the 2024 July area.
Still love the cybersecurity theme in general here. CrowdStrike, one of the leaders.
Now, I will say this: if we do lose the 200-day SMA again, and it starts to go down towards 300, 300 is going to be a support level. But we also have the 500 and a trend line that has been giving this some support, on the way up here ever since 2023. You can draw a trend line starting from January 2023, and that trend line's been supporting the price all the way up. Every time it comes down to that trend line, reverses.
It looks like it's right in here.
Yeah, I started with all the lows from 2023 to August of 2023. That just basically those lows.
Are you drawing it through the August 2024 low?
It's going through it a little bit, yeah.
Or are you cutting it a little?
Like it kind of lines up with the low from August 2nd, but it's going to print beneath it for August 5th.
Gotcha. So it's about right in here. I'll leave that on here. I also redrew the trend from August 5th through the recent low. We'll see which way that gets supported. I will say I do like that CrowdStrike has really come in, lost its 200-day, and then recaptured it. Still going to need the rest of the market in order for this to get back anywhere near. It's like getting above its 50, I think, is one of the levels that you had discussed. In order for that to happen, this is really going to need the market's help. SOAR continuing to push. We'll see if it gets through 220. Again, I was just a little early on that, but that one seems to be working.
See, I was getting asked about QBTS. On a daily chart, QBTS looks like it's, well, we still have to finish this day off, so I don't know what we're going to get out of this candle, but for the moment, it's looking like it could be a reversal candle that stays this way. So depending on how we end this day today with D-Wave, might determine if this is going to have a bearish day tomorrow. How do we see Apple? Also, JPM looking good, says Lion Atlas. Let's come right off
still off its lows.
It's bouncing off its 200-day SMA, that's for sure.
Which one are you talking about?
JP Morgan.
Okay, let me go to my bigger chart here real quick.
There is a trend line that's trying to recapture, though, so that'll we'll see if it can end up doing that. But so far, it rebounded off the 200-day SMA and the low RSI. Is a welcome sign. Let's see if this can get back up to 240. That would be a good first start. We take a look at FCX. What could be a possible upside target? Honestly, as
Sure.
With the tariff situation, it could be much higher than that. This copper has been something I've been talking about for a little bit and keeping an eye on. FCX is one of those companies.
I think personally, my 2 cents, FCX is best in breed here. A couple more copper names to talk about. SCCO, this was one of Mark Petrino's stock of the day, and then Tech, which Lion Atlas screams from the mountaintops here in this chat regarding copper. You got a couple that you can play in there.
Yeah. So FCX, you were let's see, the level you were talking about, 4150. So interestingly, that's just beneath the 500-day SMA, which is at 4178. So that could be an early resistance area, but I think that because we're breaking a trend here, there could be some more upside to this. I mean, you can even draw it, Ryan, if you start with the high from September 26th last year, draw it through November 7th of last year.
Looks like right in here. And this is November 7th. Yeah, I see what you're talking about. I hear you clucking, big chicken.
So yeah, we're kind of breaking that trend right there.
There you go. All right. So I kind of eyeballed this, so I might not have got this specific 13. I might have actually overshot that other candle by a penny there. We are actually through this if this closes right here today. But here's the trend line that 13 is talking about.
Yeah, and 4080 is going to be a resistance area because that's about where we were getting up to. Well, actually, we can even call it 41. Let's say 40.80 to $41. There's some resistance in there from when it was trying to recapture those levels back in January and February. So maybe this is the visit now that breaks above that 40.80 to $41 area and gets us that test of the 500. That's what I'd be looking at.
Okay. Good stuff, 13. MGRM, who's on this one? Another rip higher here. 4 prints. Crow, weren't you calling for 4 earlier? Another register ring there. Another register ring there. Good call here. MGRM. And look, the expanding volume continuing to give it to us. How's SOAR doing here? Oh,
the SOAR?
I'm so glad I didn't chase. I'm so glad I sat here and literally told you guys I might have been early, but I'm not going to chase this move.
So maybe this opens a good discussion about stops.
Your first, here's the only thing you need to know. Your first stop is your best stop. Anytime that you start messing around with stops and you start adjusting them, be prepared for the pain train. If you have a stop, you have a moment where, I don't want to take any more pain here, stick to that. Best piece of advice I can give you.
I hope that if you're adjusting your stops, you're raising them.
Exactly. Well, okay. I guess I should have given you that caveat. You're right, because we do that here. But yes. If that's a stop to protect your profit. If you're talking about a stop just to protect your capital, just don't even bother adjusting that. If it goes down, like today here on SOAR, it went right against me, -5 cents. Okay, I stopped out, but you know what? I'm not sitting in this, and I'm not going to be thinking about this when I'm golfing later today on my birthday. That's for sure. First stop is your best stop.
Yeah, you say you're 0 for 1, but I still think that was a pretty nice win because you didn't lose more.
Nope. Well, it was a win for protecting capital. It was not a win for generating more income, but that's okay. That's okay. By the way, Dollar General, which is one we talked about last week, I did take a starter here. I'm actually looking to add to this. We also have seasonality in this name that should be pretty good through April. So ticker DG here. I know this is one that you had talked about, 13. Mm-hmm. I took a starter last week, looking to add here again today. Small loss is better than a big loss. Amen, brother. Amen on that.
Getting asked about Cooler, asking me if what do I think about where we're at. So on a daily chart, the movement we've got today is lifted the price over the 20-day SMA. First time we've really been over this since the middle of last month. Going to want to see this hold above there. We have the 50-day SMA coming up next at 203, but I think there's going to be some earlier resistance around 185 that we'll have to deal with. So we might see that happen today.
Okay. Danny, happy birthday. Thank you, Danny. I almost read your whole name out there, but thank you, Danny. Your thoughts on Amazon, says Charles. So Amazon, we were just talking about PayPal being one of the stocks that I really like if the market really gets hit. Amazon is another one of those names. Really any type of pullback here that is significant, I'm in for. I know this might be asking for too much here. I'd love for this to pull another 20 points and give me some type of entry here at 175. Honestly, I don't know if we'll get that. I also somewhat suspect us to get a bounce first that might roll over later. Amazon, any type of really big pullback here, unless something changes there at Amazon, I'm adding this for the long term.
Yeah, this is not having a great time trying to recapture the 200-day SMA. There's another one we were looking at earlier. Which one was it? That was pretty much doing the same thing. Was it? I thought it was Tesla, but I don't think it. I think that one's a little bit too far away from its 200-day SMA. Anyway, let's go back to Amazon. That's what I would want to see out of this stock, getting back above 200. If it can't do that, I think this goes lower. And if I was going to say, and if it goes lower, then I'd be looking to add there. Amazon. Here's some more areas here for you. I've got going back to, what is this? The end of 2023. I have your volume point of control in here at 185. Here's the 200-day. I think 13, you were just talking about this. Mm-hmm.
We'll see if we can recapture this 200-day. That would be something.
Yep. If it can't, I like 190 as the next support, but probably could go lower than that. Where's Meta at? Because that's the last one to lose its 200.
Yep, it hasn't yet, right? Yep, nope. Still hasn't.
Trying to hang in there. Just teasing it.
We'll see if we get it here. Zippity. Okay, I was actually wondering if anyone was going to bring this up here. So I generally wouldn't do this, but it's my birthday, so F it. Zippity doodah here. Ryan, how about Bedard with back-to-back 10-minute misconducts? Goon, LOL. The Goon, LOL. That's actually funny. The first one, the one that they called him for giving the ref the business or yelling at the ref. I don't know if I've seen a worse call this season in the NHL. That was nothing. That was absolutely nothing. That the first of the 10-minute misconduct calls. You gave him a 10-minute misconduct when the Hawks were down 1 to the Sharks with 10 minutes and 40 seconds to go. Come on. That was complete garbage. The one the next day, I actually think that was a good move. That kept him protected because that hit by Dickinson was pretty crappy, and clearly the Canucks were going after him. So by giving him a misconduct, you actually got him off the ice so he didn't get smoked. That's my 2 cents on that. Anyway, back to the stock programming. Sorry, 13.
No worries. The one Moses is asking is if Intel is the new NVIDIA. No.
Okay, I was going to say, there's a lot of good news going on with Intel right now. I got to say, this has a lot to prove before we even start talking about a possible NVIDIA replacement.
Yeah, I know that they got a Taiwan semiconductor guy leading the charge now. That's great, but this just happened. We need to see more than just a new guy leading the charge. We need to see some proving.
Yeah. Now, so far they're saying, and it looks like they're doing the right things, but let's not go that far. And actually, don't we have an NVIDIA earnings report coming up pretty soon? Or do we just have that? No, we just had nope. We just had it February 26th. Okay, sorry. Next one's not till May.
Yeah.
Okie dokie.
But the next big event is going to be on the 20th. So let's mark your calendars.
That's this week.
Yep. We have our rate decision, and then we have our quantum day.
And he's joining Kramer on Mad Money from the conference later that day on Wednesday. So you're getting all of that stuff together. That was news as of this morning, per Jim Kramer.
What's everybody trading right now? Because Lots of back and forth for a lot of these names.
So market just kind of paused right up here at 565, right? We traded right up to this 565, 566 area, and we kind of stopped. Now we're holding up here. NASDAQ, I guess, pulled back a little bit, but it's right back on. Dow's doing a really good job holding here. To me, it does seem like the market wants to try and push higher from here, but we just don't have the volume, it looks like. And I'm actually not sure we have those in some of the other names either. MGRM pop above 4 probably would trim into that move. Look at how orderly this move up here on MGRM. I picked the wrong one. I picked SOAR. MGRM was the right one to trade here today. God,
we have
good stuff, Izzy.
We have housing starts and building permits, so we'll get some more housing data. Red Book as well. We have, and Wednesday, of course, we have the rate decision. Mortgage data. Thursday is, of course, the quantum day and jobless claims. It's going to be a exciting week. Lots of back and forth. We're already seeing it. SPY coming down. Saying some folks.
Hey. All right. So it looks like Rory McIlroy won the playoff. I got to say, Rory on St. Patrick's Day, that was an easy one. That was a no-brainer. So it looks like that kind of carried over from yesterday, and Rory is your Players Champion. Awesome. That's who I was rooting for.
Look at this. Look at this chopping around that the SPY has been doing ever since it got over 565 and 16 cents, just back and forth, above and below that level. Just chop.
Right in here?
Yeah.
More chop than a Benihana?
Yeah. Just nothing but back and forth.
Let's see what else we've got. Apple's coming in from that pop. Anything else interesting here? Bitcoin did move down. So it looks like, so you weren't here for that. Listen to this. Let me actually repeat that here real quick. Let me pull the story up. I closed it earlier. Bitcoin. A Bitcoin whale took a $332 million short at about 84,000 and faced liquidation at 85,000.
How did he short that? Like, what was the instrument he used?
Here. It looks like it just says BTC USD. Short on Bitcoin. So yeah, looks like they were just short Bitcoin here. Let me see if this is a graphic of the actual trade on the blockchain. So here it is. Now I can't. This is something that was posted on the internet. So I don't know. But interesting nonetheless, he did not get liquidated. Bitcoin has moved off that spot earlier down here at 82,000. Actually, looks like it might try and break 82,000. Just thought that was interesting.
You know, Bernard, I've been kind of looking at a little bit earlier than 190 for cooler. I think that you might see. It looks like 180 might be the better level to me for resistance. That's where I would kind of be looking at. Well, we're almost at that 1030 mark where the volume is really going to dry up. Not that it hasn't been a desert in here today.
Lift upgrade, $21 price target. You don't say, Izzy. You don't say. You know, remember, I'm actually still in those April calls. That was remember the call spread. Bottom end of that call spread was April 20 to 23. Now here you get this $21 price target, RBC Capital. Those calls are probably dead. This thing would have to move like starting right now. But interesting nonetheless. That price, maybe it's just serendipitous, but that price target is interesting.
Tesla trying to go lower here.
CRVO pulling back to its VWAP might bounce from here. We've seen it a couple of times on CRVO. Here's your Tesla chart. Oh my, yikes.
And there it goes. Goodbye. Thanks for playing.
Looks like your next level here is going to be this what? 233-ish, 234-ish. Hey, Smoke Tuna, where you been? Where you been, bro? Nice to see you again, and thank you for the birthday wishes. Very kind of you. We missed you here. Hopefully all is well, and hopefully all is well in your corner of the universe. What are we looking at, 13?
Well, hello, Smoke Tuna, and looking at Root Crow saying, in his opinion, 200 is in the cards.
50-point move from here. That's got to mean Carvana's going to do pretty well too, huh, Crow?
Let's see here. I mean, that's trying to recapture its 200.
Still think, might we have a cup and handle forming here? Maybe it's been invalidated by this move higher and then move lower. You tell me.
Well, I see a trend one way or the other.
Tesla's still rolling over here, hitting those lows. NBIS hitting lows. Palo Alto is turning around here. Amazon actually might be going towards the lows as well right now. Market is still holding higher here, but is off the highs. S&P futures pulling back a little bit, but again, still holding on to green. NASDAQ really pulling right now.
How's SQQQ looking? That must be looking pretty good.
Thank you, Ferris. Really appreciate that. Got busy with AI devs. I understand. Be sure to share your AI project with us. Gary, thank you. Much appreciated, my man. Big Bees, you tell you what, you've been killing it with the leaps. Root leaps up 15% here today. We'll take that.
Grok said 180's Tesla. using their own AI against them, huh? You may see 200 in Tesla soon. I wouldn't doubt that. It's looking like we're getting all the Mag 7 to really come in. Still. I mean, we're seeing some weakness in Meta as well. A little bit. It still has a ways to go. Needs to get down to, needs to lose another $30. All right, Spy, what are you doing?
Let's see what some of the other. I haven't even looked at really the X streets today. Is Twitter doing anything with trades here today? See a lot of Z's out there.
Like it's sleepy?
Yeah. Yes.
You are correct.
No, I'm trying to make some sense of this. I'm trying to see what other traders are doing. The active trader group that I follow along, they've named the exact same stocks that we have here today. I'll read them to you on the list. MGRM, KTOS, PLTR. These are all stuff. Actually, you know what? We haven't looked at Palantir since this morning. I don't think that's changed, though. Palantir is coming in with tech. Really see, I don't think we've missed anything here today. The quantum names, QBTS, QUBT, MGRM. MGRM has really been the big one. RR was another one. You guys are on top of all. I didn't even need this today. I mean, ANTE, that's another one that we have talked about here today. Looks like we're all on the same thing, just not the greatest action, frankly.
No, the market's just kind of, weak and quiet.
Interesting. Daniel saying, I wanted to trade ANTE, but my broker wouldn't let me buy it. What broker, if you don't mind me asking? Okay, if you want to keep that private, I get it.
Yeah, the broker may have some kind of restriction on it.
Sometimes they do. And I'll tell you what, 13, sometimes they seem to be on the oddest things too, right? That's like, and it's just like, why would you block that? Like, what the hell?
You're blocking this, but you'll let me trade this stupid junky name that I can get all
this is clearly a scam from China that you're letting me trade. Like, come on. Actually, the SPY is trying to bounce, and so is the NASDAQ. Actually, watch for some of these tech names to maybe turn around here. I wonder if Tesla's at a tradable low.
Yeah, like I'm saying, there's a lot of chop so far today, and I need to see a direction. I need to see this market choose a direction because it really hasn't yet. It's just been, it drove up, into that the 565 area, and it's just been chopping around, just going back and forth in a range. And I need to see like a clear direction, and we just haven't really got that yet. Spies at VWAP. It's right there. It's been it was getting support from VWAP, for a good portion of the morning, but it just lost it. Now it's trading beneath VWAP, so there's an indication of potential downside unless it recaptures it in this same candle.
Fairchild says the air he got. Sorry, you can't trade that symbol. My cousin hates their CFO. Oh, that's funny. Big B's, this is actually a serious thing here. A lot of the time you have to opt in to buy stocks like these. I've had to do that in my Fidelity account. Interesting, as they're pretty conservative when it comes to some of the junkier names. Big B's, that's really helpful. Aren't there some brokers that don't allow OTC trading unless you opt in?
Yeah.
So that's obviously options have different levels that you have to opt into in order to be able to sell contracts versus just buying them or buying them against cash secured, stock secured positions. So that's a really good point there, Big B's. And I don't know offhand. I've been rejected at Thinkorswim a bunch of times on some, junkier foreign names that I couldn't really piece together. But good stuff there.
Sorry, I was just reading something for Rustam. He was asking thoughts on SES.
Rustam, checking in the morning. What's going on, my man?
Yeah, so
he loves his penny stocks every day.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, you trade what you know how to trade. This thing here is facing a delisting notice, so I'd have to read into when they can, if they're going to try and appeal this, or if they're going to meet requirements. I'd look for dates. Don't have anything. I'd have to go through this Form 8K that they've got here. That's probably going to tell me all about it. But just read the recent news about their delisting and see if that's you can fit that into how you're going to trade this. Remember, this has a pretty large float too, so probably not going to get the greatest of price action. Seems like this is going to do a reverse split if they're going to try to remain compliant. So be on the lookout for that.
Uber here. This actually moved higher out of the open, came back to the VWAP, and is bouncing here. This is from today. WeRide CEO aims to grow fleet over 5,000 robo-taxis within the next 3 years. Said to partner with Uber on launch of robo-taxis in Abu Dhabi. So Uber continuing to push all of the right buttons here over its competitor Lyft. I know we just talked about a price target upgrade here for Lyft, but the reality of this, Uber absolutely crushing Lyft in this business. The foray into food has been great. Obviously, we've got humongous international expansion and partnerships. Uber continuing to clean the clock of Lyft here. And by the way, Smoke Tuna giving us some MGRM levels, saying this might be decent on a pullback here. And 345 looks to be one of the support levels here. So here you go. Here's your 350 level. Looks like if we overshoot that a little bit, 345 right there on MGRM. I do not like that the volume has really rolled over and made this hill. But if it holds, to your point there, we could see another rush of volume in here. That would work.
Yeah, the next candle is probably going to tell me if this is going to be a good one or not. It's, lost VWAP last 5-minute candle. First time it's been closing underneath it today. Well, there was a pull in the after the open, but been kind of straight up. So this is definitely a change in trend. Let's see if it can recapture VWAP within the next candle. Maybe it goes higher, but if it doesn't, I think it would come down to around 325.
Or it's just getting more birthday wishes from folks. Thank you, everyone out there. Barron's had Uber said to buy. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. ANTE, you were saying did that actually give its move? ANTE?
It had a nice move through VWAP.
I think tuna was on that one too.
Still hasn't
Sure
hit the
did.
pre-market high of 154 yet. But nice recovery. It's certainly trading higher than it has for most of the day, and including the pre-market. Just only have wicks up here in the pre-market.
So Webcoin here saying MGRM, actually the low volume pullback could be good. Indeed, this is kind of what I mean, right? So here, ANTE, it never really had that big expanding volume that MGRM did, but you can see this is just kind of low, really didn't break down, right? Got to a level, really kind of consolidated there. Volume was really low. As soon as the volume poured in, you actually had a tradable move. Well, I'm hoping now for the same thing here on MGRM. Right. So I know we're kind of rolling over here, but if this comes back in, remember 350, I think Tuna said 345. So let's call 345 to 350. If the stock doesn't lose that and we continue to kind of just have some of that low volume here, Webcoin, I agree with you. I think especially if we get more volume to flow into this likely probably goes back above 4 and maybe challenges that 420 intraday high. See if we get that. Barron's is worse than Kramer. Buffalo by bicycle, just no chill here this morning, just out here.
Getting a recovery in SPY now. The chop continues.
Thank you, Quantum.
So probably, and if this can, is going to follow through, we're going to come up here and test the 566 handle and some change in there. Cooler new highs. What are the space plays doing today? Looked at them earlier, but I want to see what they're doing now.
Okay. Let's look, because I don't see. What do you want to start with?
Well, Cooler is the one that's up the most. That's up 22% on the day. Then you have Satellogic, which is ticker SATL. That's up over 10%. Everything else is under 4. I don't know if there's any news with that.
There was didn't the SpaceX spacecraft just dock with the space station yesterday or today?
I believe it was yesterday.
Yesterday, I'm pretty sure it was yesterday. I get all those times mixed up, man.
And that's why we were speculating that why DXYZ was moving, because that owns SpaceX.
Yeah, and they're going to get those astronauts back here pretty soon, aren't they?
That's what that plan. That's what they were up there for. They sent a crew of 4 up there. 2 are going to stay, and the 2 that have been up there stranded are going to come back home.
Good.
That's the plan.
Could that ongoing process be why we're seeing some movement in the space stocks today? I don't know.
I would think so. I mean, you get attention like that with space, yeah.
Let's take a look at DYX.
Still think we're going to see a lot of movement in space, particularly as it pertains to satellites. Data centers in space looking like a possibility, like a real possibility. Let's see. Yeah, that's right. First, last, absolutely. Big selling Boeing for scraps.
Scraps, I think, is what he means here. Boeing.
I like scraps better.
Boeing less than impressive here. This is actually just kind of rolling over a little bit. See if it holds 150.
It's had a really nice rebound since last Tuesday. Let's see. This didn't quite get up to 165 yet. Not the kind of price I actually want to see. I would have liked to see this get up to at least 165, but we only got up to about 162 and change.
GLMD, this is trying to bounce here. A little bit of a volume pop. Did we have fresh news on this? Nope. Looks like this just triggered a circuit breaker earlier. ANTE. We firming up there. No, it's coming back into VWAP.
More chop.
RGC getting mentioned. So interesting. This has actually held its gains and continued higher. After that piece of news from last week regarding what was that?
Yeah.
Oh, this ran on no news. What am I mixing this up with? What the hell was that? This ran on Thursday of last week on no news. Okay. No, it was the Form 13D. Excuse me. No wonder.
Oh, okay.
So this is still holding higher here past that 13D SEC filing.
Yeah,
RGC.
You know, it's better than average volume, but not by a lot. You know, it's a little bit more than twice the volume on the average volume. I mean,
BABA continuing to curl back to the highs. Whoever's on BABA. Dollar General actually came back to the highs without me getting an ad. Damn.
That's going to be good. Looks like IWM is moving over a VWAP on smaller time frames. Market lifting up. Is Bitcoin coming back too? Looks like it. As a matter of fact, Bitcoin looks like it's trying to break trend here.
Bitcoin, huh?
Needs to go a little bit further, but it seems like about 83,500 would be a bit of a breakout area if it happens soon.
Here's your daily chart. That really kind of lines up with the trend line 13.
Yep.
Lion, looks like you don't want to go to Mars because you can't trade from Mars. Okay, I can understand. Your latency probably wouldn't be very good.
Yeah. Your trades, you'd be have a 20-minute lag on this, so all the moves would be over by the time that.
I like this. You guys go there. You call me and let me know how it is. I'll wait here for you. Oh, Lion, I'm with you on that. Space is cool and all, but I'll read about it.
Do you have any desire to go up in one of those low Earth orbit capsules like William Shatner went into? And
that I could be convinced to do. I'm not trying to. It's not like a pinnacle of my life, so I wouldn't try to use my life savings in order to do that. But if given the opportunity, I could see that being really a sweet once in a lifetime experience. Absolutely. How about you? Are you're looking?
I said I'd get higher than wisdom.
And he's not here to defend himself. Oh, that's well timed. 13. That is well timed. Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't give it up either. Jace is saying MGRM FDA approval. Yeah, that's why it's moving.
That's on the move today.
Yeah. There will be a new stock market on. It'll be the Mars kit, right? Dad jokes.
Mars kit. Is that what you were going? I think I got it.
Yeah.
McLovin reclaiming 300 here.
Looks like Seals SQ Corp coming back up.
Yeah, 3D. I'm with 3D here. You guys can do all your fancy going to space. I'll be at the planetarium. 3D, I'll meet you at the planetarium. We can get one of those little trinkets to commemorate that we were at the planetarium. We don't really have to leave orbit and die, maybe. I'm with you on that one. Planetariums are sweet. ANTE getting some more value. Smoked tuna, you did it again. You did it again.
Cooler new highs, 181 now. This thing is certainly trying to turn around. Looks like Palantir rebounded 84.84. Coming up to the 200 EMA on the 5-minute. There's also the area of the lows from the impulse move down out of the gate. So we could be seeing some resistance here in PLTR. And wouldn't you know it, SPY is still sideways.
I think all of these kind of Momo runners here, honestly, I think all of these have more to go on a rollover, which is one of the reasons why I'm not trying to swing them here. I still think Palantir at 60, I'm probably going to try it. Up here, I'm just going to kind of wait it out. I do also feel the same thing about Bitcoin. So unfortunately, I have the same pretty much viewpoint across all of this. I hope that I'm right. Lion, I did not see any new short seller report today. Believe me, if I see those, I will shout it out as an alert, you could say, because those have been great for us. Folks, 2 minutes and we're going to go to an all access here. But we will be back tomorrow.
Yeah, hopefully with some better movement in the market, This has been it's a kind of a choppy, muted day.
You know what else, 13, is that we sometimes we have this here in the morning, and then sometimes we actually get, something to kick up in the evening, or I guess I should say the afternoon, not the evening. Maybe we'll get that. Maybe we'll get that here today, and we'll have some stuff to go over.
Yeah, after the lunch hour is over, let's see if we get some of that volume to return. We should see some better price action in the power hour at the very least. But
by the way, you guys that were talking about Freeport MacMoran earlier here, more calls here on Freeport, 860. These are short dated, but it looks like these are bullish call flow here. Ticker FCX, Freeport MacMoran.
Let's go. Let's spy back up over 565 again. Hey, no problem, Kevin. Glad to have you with us.
Yeah.
Is he saying Apple puts coming?
Yeah, I was actually watching the option scanner here. Didn't see those, but action here is kind of telling us that. Okay, it is 10:50 here. So 13, want to have any closing words for the group? We're going to kick it over to all access here.
Yeah, just kind of a choppy day. Don't try to force anything, especially on days like this. This might not work out. So find something else to do, folks, and we'll be back here tomorrow. We'll hopefully have some better price action in these names. So take care of yourselves. Happy birthday, Ryan, and happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody out there. See you later, folks.
All right, that is 13. Thank you very much, 13. We will be back tomorrow, and we will be back all week here. Thanks very much. Really appreciate all of you for hanging out. Birthday wishes, the whole 9 yards. Cannot thank you enough. All access coming up right now.
Thanks, Ryan. Hey, Zingers, and welcome to All Access. I've got a fantastic guest for you today. It's Rick MacPherson, the CEO of Birchtech Group. The TSS ticker is BCHT. He's joining us for an exclusive talk today. All Access starts right now. It's my pleasure to welcome in Rick MacPherson, the CEO of Birchtech Group. It's fantastic to be with you today, Rick.
Yes, Dan, it's great to be here. Thank you very much.
Of course. Now, can you give us an overview of Birchtech?
Sure. Birchtech is a environmental tech company, which I started in 2008, commercialized in 2011, grew nicely to 2015, and we work in the field of mercury collection. So when the federal regulations came in 2015, our company took off. We were doing 33 million a year in 2016, dropping about 9 million to the bottom line. But unfortunately, we did a lot of demonstrations, and in spite of being NDA'd in terms of our technology, the market adopted our technologies widely, but failed to include licensing and supply from us as was required. So we moved on and were able to, after a great deal of legal work that culminated in a case filed in 2019, insist and successfully achieve adoption by a majority of the folks using our technology. And so at this point in time, we've turned around nicely. Our revenues are growing. We've had significant legal wins to secure the IP value for our shareholders. And we're moving forward on a positive cash flow basis with great tailwind of new business coming through the door.
And let's talk about this, Rick. Why adopt the structure that you have as the parent of ME2C Environmental?
So the approach that we have right now is to use our expertise and pedigree in the carbonaceous material world to move forward, not only in the air purification, but into water purification, which is a much bigger opportunity for us across the U.S. And we've made really strong strides and inroads in moving into the water purification business, specializing on drinking water, but also focused on wastewater remediation. So the team of engineers that we had that were so successful in creating the technologies widely adopted through the power plant industry turned their attention several years ago to us entering the water business. And we stepped out as well and acquired and hired several new key individuals to join the group, led by Dr. David Mazik, who's the head of our water division. So we've made great strides in developing new technologies for water purification and wastewater remediation, which we'll be bringing to market in 2025.
Well, tell us about some of those technologies and how does your air and water purification work?
So the air business is sound, proven, solid, and in place without any requirement for additional development going forward. We do expect we have the potential to move from that 20 range into 40 plus million just through the settlements at hand on an annual basis. The water business, however, we see an opportunity for at least 10 times that revenue annually, given that it's a $1.5 billion annual business. And our new technologies, which we've developed, we expect to be able to do the same for water as we did for air, which is basically disrupt it significantly and take a nice percentage of that market. We have our sights set on about 25% of the outstanding market now in the water purification business.
Gotta love being a disruptor for sure, Rick. Well, let's dive a little deeper into the patent lawsuits. Tell us about the recent developments in your patent lawsuits. Can you give us a little background here?
Sure. So on the air side, we had these a group of patents that were very solid and have proven to be validated through the jury trial that we had in Delaware and applicable to anybody using our process in the air pollution side, which there are dozens that still are using it without a license from us. So we're pursuing that to protect the shareholder value of the company, and that will provide the growth in that core business. Going forward, we have a number of different patents pending for new technologies that we've created and developed and fully tested and vetted in the water purification market, both at wastewater remediation objectives and the collection and the destruction of PFOA and PFAS, or forever chemical materials, in the drinking water. So we've got a great new group of technologies that we will be doing head-to-head testing with various engineering groups and utilities in Q2 of this year, and we'll be launching those new products commercially in the second half of 2025.
Very exciting stuff. I know debt repayment, Rick, was a major priority for you in 2024. How is that progressing?
Oh, very well. We've paid off all of our debt as a company, other than a profit share piece, which comes out of significant IP wins. And in this case, whenever the judge comes down with his final decision, we will pay a small percentage of that to a bank that we've had longstanding relationships with. Other than that, we're debt free. We're operating on a cash positive basis ahead of all of these growth factors that I've just mentioned to you.
And let's talk about trends. What are the biggest trends you're seeing in clean tech? It's a very exciting space. Where is the industry heading?
Well, you know, what's very interesting is the coal business itself, which we're attached to with the air purification side, is growing rapidly. The AI demand for coal power has changed the forecast for the coal industry, the coal power industry, drastically. So we see our core business, our base business that we are building on, as a solid business. We expect coal will be in the high teens as a percentage of the total fleet output for years to come, if not more so. And so we find ourselves in a good spot. The administration is pro-coal. The industry and the AI behind it is pro-coal. And so our technologies are in a very good place at this time. And what we've developed for water, I must tell you, Dan, is going to be a disruptor, at least as good or better than what we introduced to the air pollution industry.
I love it. Very exciting stuff and a very exciting time for Birchtech right now. It was an absolute pleasure talking with you today, Rick. Thank you so much for your time.
Dan, thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, pleasure, honor, all mine. That was Rick MacPherson, the CEO of Birchtech Group. The TSX ticker is BCHT. Let's send it right to the Trader Bacon Show.